What's up, community? How everyone is doing today? Excited to be back for another live stream. How the sound is, by the way? You guys let me know how the sound is. If the sound looks okay, music-wise, and microphone-wise, let me know. And welcome again to another live stream. Excited to be back. I had an amazing Christmas, and a lot of food, a lot of drinks as well. And back today with another live stream. Happy to be back. Ducatan, welcome to the stream. Danny Guzman, welcome to the stream. Lucas, welcome to the stream. Samuel, welcome to the stream as well. Welcome everyone from TikTok Quick as well. Nice to see everyone here. Rafael, welcome to the stream. Robert, welcome to the stream. Today we actually have, you guys have noticed the last stream, basically, I had a problem with Streamlabs and I wasn't able to actually see a lot of chat coming from YouTube. That was actually a problem from Streamlabs. So, lesson learned. We now basically have all the chats open here on my second screen, so I can literally, see all messages and I won't miss a thing, okay? You guys don't have to worry about that, okay? Welcome everyone. How was your Christmas? Did you guys have a good Christmas? Everyone feeling happy and refreshed, ready for the final days of the year, and also, we are almost in 2025, which is crazy, okay? It's a little bit crazy. I have published already a YouTube video talking a little bit about how was my year, but, if you guys missed the video, go to my YouTube channel. I've basically did my year in review, talking a little bit about everything, like Laravel Cloud, about my streaming, about, how the beginning of the year was a little bit rough for me, but, yeah. So if you missed it, go there. Robert is saying it's good on YouTube. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream, Ben. Mora, welcome to the stream as well. Excited to have everyone here, man. Let's start the quick poll here on YouTube. Session CBK, what's up, dude? How you doing? Nice to see you here, man. Transcode, nice to see you, man. Transcode is saying, hi, Nuno. How are you, bro? Merry Christmas. I want Laravel Cloud as a gift. I would also love to have Laravel Cloud as a gift in terms of being public, but it's not ready yet. It will be very soon, though. Dan Ferguson, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here, man. Happy Christian. Nice to see you here on the stream as well. Tier P gang, hi from Italy. Nice to see you here on the stream. And today we are actually going to keep working on the Pack PHP tool. You guys have noticed, okay? You guys know that I'm currently working on this new PHP tool, which has a lot of potential in my opinion. Let me just quick fix here the stream real quick so you guys can see me. There we go. So you guys know I'm currently working on this CLI tool called Pack PHP. So in the same style of Past PHP, but also in the same style of Pint PHP, we are currently working all together on this tool, Pack PHP, which the goal is literally being a powerful CLI tool designed to identify wording or spelling mistakes in your code base. So it's built with Spin in mind, and it really just works and fits naturally in your workflow, just like Pint or Past. The goal is literally just go to your project and try to find mistakes or typos on folder names, file names, but also method names, comments, and everything in between. You know what I mean? So I had this need. When I was working on Laravel Cloud, I was constantly writing PHP annotations without even knowing if all the wording on those PHP annotations is correct. So I have started to build this project on stream with all of you guys, and we have made progress. Today, the goal is actually come up with a beta version or something that something that I would use already on Laravel Cloud, in Forge, in Vapor, and more. You know what I mean? Pick and Flow, hi dude, how was your Christmas, by the way? Welcome to the chat, man, and welcome to the stream as well. Roberto, nice to see you as well, man. Welcome to the stream. Luke Haho, welcome to the stream as well. Nice, so nice to see everyone after Christmas, man. So cool, man. Thank you for coming. But yeah, so that being said, you know, I have done already a couple of things. One of them being ask the community what they think about Pack PHP as a naming for this tool. Some of them say it's a cool name, but I want to ask you here on the chat, because you guys, you know, you guys work with me, you guys know me, so maybe we can come up with a better name for this. So we have four possible names, okay? We have four possible names for this tool we are building together. One of them is, you guys know, Pack PHP. Let me just write this all together here. I'm going to move here into my live stream setup real quick. So we have literally four possible names for this tool, okay? The first one is Pack PHP, okay? Literally being Pack, okay? The second one is Pipo, which is kind of, you know, a joke between PHP typo, you know what I mean? We also have Paxi, which comes from PHP Lexi or something like that. In the last one, I kind of discarded. So what do you guys think? Like, personally, just write it on the chat. Which are like which one of these is like a favorite name? Pack PHP, Pipo, or Paxi? Which one do you like the most? Nerdy, welcome to the stream. Excited to see that you're coming from Brazil. We do conduct these live streams in English, so I hope you don't mind. Arthur is asking what the package do. So the package is literally just going to your code. Like, if I were to run this, you know, this project on this given CLI tool, like bin pack, for example, it would literally list all the wording mistakes you have in your project. So if you have a file which potentially is bad named, I will tell you that you have a typo on that file name, for example. Okay. So Dusan No is saying that he likes Pipo. We have Mora, which prefers Pack. Samuel, who likes Pipo as well, but it does sound like a Python package. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with that. Dan is saying Pack is fine. Ben is saying keep Pack. Pack is better than the others. Paxi sounds like Pepsi. So true, dude. It's so true. Yeah, most of you say that you like Pack, and I may keep the Pack naming, at least for now. Okay, so that being said, you guys have been super receptive, and if I go here to my Safari again, actually, you know, we have this repo already online, so I'm going to just send it to you here on YouTube, but also on Twitch chats, doing the same here real quick on the X as well. But basically we have this project already set up on GitHub, call it Pack PHP/Pack, and we have 7 pull requests. 7 pull requests already, because you guys are just awesome. So I propose that we start the day today, that we start this stream already with reviewing these pull requests. And something a little bit crazy is that this package is not even ready. We haven't yet decided the name, and we already have 72 GitHub stars, which tells a little bit like how much people actually find this tool useful. So I feel like we can probably, you know, keep working on this and potentially actually having this online today. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Somebody saying refresh the page. Why would I refresh the page? To see another GitHub star? Okay, now we have 78 GitHub stars. Thank you, thank you. All right, dudes, I'm gonna start the day. By reviewing this pull requests, okay? And I want to, you know, some of you have asked me, like, how do I review pull requests? So potentially will be a fun thing to share. Okay, let's get started. Let's start by the oldest one. So we have a pull request by Jefferson Simon Gonçalves, and it was accepted by Muhammad. Okay, let's see what it's about. So apparently it is about this pull request template.md. So in case you don't know, if your repo have a file that looks like this, that does mean that if anyone were to do a pull request, they will see this template, you know, as by default in the pull request description. So I feel like, you know, this is something that doesn't hurt really. I don't see a problem with this. And if I were to actually change this template in the future, I can just do it, you know. So I'm going to merge this and, you know, have this in our project. So this is merged. So now we have 6. Let's keep going. We have now one from Giulio Cavallari, and it says fits adds the ability to configure words and directories to be ignored on scan. We talked about this. we talked about this because we noticed that if we were to run, like, I'm going to show you an example real quick. I'm going to go here again to my live screen. There we go. And I'm going to just, go to the source directory and create a file or a folder actually, or actually a file with the name http.php. Now, HTTP is actually a solid, like a very solid word. Use it within tech, HTTP file or HTTP folder is something that it's used a lot, So if I were to run Pack on this, it will tell me that there is a typo on the HTTP word, but there is no actually typo. It's basically kind of a word that is used always on tech. So I feel like, we definitely need a place where we are going to ignore some of the words, HTTP being one of them, okay? So we talked about this. So I'm gonna delete this file and go back to Safari real quick. And I feel like we definitely need this. Let's just see if the pull request is literally ready or not, okay? So I'm gonna click on Files Changed. This pull request is coming from Giulio Cavallari, okay? So the first file I see is this pack.json, which tells me that we are introducing a configuration file. Now, I do love personally the JSON format we are using on Laravel Pint, and I wish we could use it on Past as well. So I'm okay with the .json extension for now. We do have as well some whitelisted words, but also whitelisted directories, which is too worthy for me. Like in terms of wording, it's too much words for me. I would personally like to see something a little bit smaller in terms of option. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions on this, okay? Roberto is saying, I just started the project. Thank you so much. Akari is saying, hello, nice to see you here on the stream as well. Hopebox is saying that the pull request that adds the template have the past theme instead of the pack theme. It does? If it does, let's fix that real quick. So if I go to .github, pull request template, I'm going to click on edit this file. And we do have past indeed, so I'm going to just remove this and replace with pack team. And I'm going to call this docs adjust pull request template real quick, okay? Bam, bam, boom, done. Thank you for that, okay? Oh, Roblox said, I will do a pull request. Oh, I'm sorry if you have done that already. Oh my God, you did? Well, now it's fixed though. It would have been a good pull request. Thank you though. Yeah, so Unreally Odd Fixer is saying, do we really need a separate list for words in directory? So that was kind of my first feeling about this. I also feel like possibly we should have just, an option that accepts any words that should be whitelisted for directories, but also for files, or also for natural sentences that are going to be used on, PHP annotation. So personally, I feel like we definitely don't need like two separate options, but let's keep working on this, okay? So I'm also seeing that this one will be a little bit big, so I'm going to leave this one to the end. Are you guys okay with that? I hope so. Let's leave this one to the end because it's kind of a big one. Let's see this second one right here. It adds the ASCII logo to the project. So as you may know, an ASCII logo, it's something like a logo on the terminal. And it says that starting with teeny details, and I will contribute with important things later. So, by the way, I'm going to just tell you this up front. Sometimes the smallest pull requests are the best ones. Especially stuff like this, like having or designing an ASCII logo, it actually takes time. So, I kind of love small pull requests because they are just simpler for me. I can simply hit the merge button and that's it. You know what I mean? So this pull request is coming from Jackie Boy. Thank you for this, okay? Maiden is saying, Nuno, it's great that you are sharing your mind process on open source. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Danny Guzman is saying, I think snake case is more readable. So I feel like you're talking about still the pull request about the options, and you're probably talking about this little option. So ideally, I'm going to tell you up front, ideally would be cool to actually have an option that is so small in terms of naming that we don't even need to worry about uppercase or snake case. you know, like literally just one word, super simple, so there is no confusion at all, you know what I mean? Pick and Flow is saying, yes, I agree. I do learn a lot from your streams. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you saying that. Well, to be honest, sometimes I do learn with you, you know, with you, but also with the other viewers while I'm doing these live streams. I can, for example, remember the live stream about filament. You know, I've learned a lot about filament. Live stream about Svelte. I learned about Svelte, literally. You know, the live about the event sourcing. I have learned literally about event sourcing here on stream. So I you know, it's literally something that goes both ways. You know, I'm learning with you guys, but you're also learning with me. So it's, you know, it's a community. That's it. Arthur is saying, you are pull request reviewing is helping me to understand how can I contribute better to open source projects. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, by the way. Okay. Midnight is asking me, hello, how are you? I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm excited to be back. I had an amazing Christmas. Overall, you know, I had my beautiful wife, my beautiful nephews, my family, everyone was around, and it was just good times, you know, having food, having drinks, speaking about old stories, you know, which is what I love to do with especially with my grandmother. I just love to have her like literally tell me stories about how things used to be in the past, and you know, I just loved Christmas basically. Okay. Arthur is asking me if we have cockfish. Yes, we did have cockfish. Bacalhau is like, you know, a tradition. Bacalhau means like cockfish in English, and it's basically something we do have a lot here in Portugal. Okay. By the way, for those of you who are new to the stream, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP Laravel developer. I'm also a Laravel core team member. And, you know, I'm streaming every single day to Twitch and YouTube at 9 p.m. every single day, except the days I can't, like Christmas and, you know, New Year's Eve, for example. I'm not streaming. But yeah, you can support my work by doing two things: becoming a YouTube member if you want to, and you have early access to all videos, or on Twitch. You can also subscribe my channel and literally, you know, support financially my work here on streams. All the money I'm getting for this, I'm literally reinvesting on making the stream better. Okay. I have YouTube videos every single day at 1 p.m. so you can subscribe my YouTube channel. If you watch me from another platforms like Kik, but also from X or TikTok, feel free to change to YouTube or Twitch, because generally in overall, they are better platforms for streaming, in my opinion. Okay. And Pick and Flow just shared the Discord channel, and we have a Discord channel indeed with almost 500 members. This Discord channel is literally the place where we, you know, we as a community, we talk about on this Discord channel, and feels good to be there and go there and literally keep discussions after the streams, you know, but also having a place where people suggest topics to the stream. So yeah, that's it. What else we have here? The chat is super active today, and I absolutely love that. Tiago is asking me, I know it's not the topic of the live, but could you give an example of how to test a session? Yeah, it's not really the topic of the live, so I will rather just, you know, you can go to the Discord and I will ask you, and I will answer you that. So there's a channel on Discord, call it Q&A Nuno, and you can make me a question there and I will just answer you that. Miran is saying, you are famous, man. Everybody knows you. I don't think so. I may be a little bit known on the PHP world on Twitter or X, but on YouTube and Twitch, I'm super small yet, okay? Jonas, welcome to the stream. All right, dudes. So we were saying that we are leaving this pull request that allows us to configure Pack to later on the stream because it's a little bit too big. So let's move forward and look at this one from Jackie Boy that adds a CLI ASCII pack. So something that I would do here immediately is just having a screenshot of how the logo looks like. So, you know, something really easy for literally for me merging this pull request would have having a preview of how exactly this logo displays on the console, and it doesn't, you know. It's something I would do differently here, but still a good pull request. Okay, apparently we have this Packy logo, which, you know, have no idea how does it look like. So what I will do real quick is just literally copy this and see how does it look like on the terminal. Immediately, I'm not a big fan of ASCII logos, especially from this size, because they are just literally too big, and it's something I wouldn't like to see all the time. But I'm gonna just copy paste this and see how does it look on the terminal. And you guys let me know what you guys think, okay? So I'm gonna just copy this real quick, move here to PHP Storm, and go to the bin file and literally just add the code manually, okay? So we now have the code right here. I can literally go here and type bin pack and see how does it goes. Yeah, so, you know, even though the idea was probably a good one, I personally don't like to see like a logo all the time literally on the console. So I feel like this is something I don't want to, okay? Thank you for the pull request though. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this pull request, okay? Thank you so much. So I'm gonna close this pull request. I'm gonna just say thank you for the pull request, but I'm going to table this for now. Louise is saying you could put it on the help. We don't have a help yet, but I'm going to just say, I'm going to table for now. We may actually reopen the pull request eventually if we have an help command, okay? Really cool idea. Thank you for the pull request, but we are going to table it for now. We may actually reopen the pull request eventually if we have a help command. Okay, this looks a little bit better in terms of, you know, rejecting a pull request. Next, we have now, oh, something really cool. Now this truly looks cool, man. So this pull request is coming from Konstantin. So, you know, this contributor. And let's see what Konstantin have actually, proposed. So apparently, you know, by the way, Konstantin did something really cool here, which is have a screenshot with a preview of his work. Now, this is very important as someone who is reviewing this code, because literally we have a feeling, an overall feeling of the value of this pull request, okay? But let's read this. So this pull request is a new feature and aims to add an improvement styling on the CLI output. By the way, what do you guys think about the CLI output? It does look cool for you? Say yes if yes, say no if no. And also saying, fun fact, this is not my first open source contribution, but it is my first time using Termwind. I will definitely use it on future projects. Yeah, if you don't know, Termwind is literally like Tailwind CSS for the terminal. So, you know, for someone who have never done any kind of HTML on the console, it's kind of cool to see their first reaction, okay? So everyone, Pick and Flow, Mesh Samuel, Arthur, Xcrapasaurus is saying yes, which is pretty cool. How about on YouTube? What do you guys think about this? I personally feel this looks awesome, by the way. Chico already reviewed it and he said that it looks awesome. And we also have another comment from Konstantin. If you'd like to expand on this, maybe add an empty state if everything was spelled correctly, or simply either with some package information like credits or version. Just let me know. I will be happy to implement this as well. So definitely something we want is that if we don't have any improvements to make on the existing project, like when we were running vendor bin pack, we definitely want to tell the user that no problems were found, okay? Give me a second here real quick. Sorry, I apologize about that. Okay. So let's see the files changed. Wow, so there is actually a lot of files changed, which is pretty cool, you know. So when you are like literally merging code in your existing PHP project, something you like to see is a pull request that has a lot of value, but in terms of code is very minimal. Like most of the times, Taylor Otwell rejects a pull request, it's not because of the code being bad, it's literally because of the value amount of code trade-off. You know, like most of the times the problem is never the actual code. Most of the times the problem is the value it adds versus the amount of code it's adding. You know what I mean? So when I see like a pull request as small as this, but with this value added, which is this one, I immediately think this is actually a very cool thing to merge. So 90% of the work is done. The last little bits is literally just checking the code real quick. We don't see a lot of, problems here. So let's just read this real quick. So basically we have a variable called line info, which tells me that if the line is different from 0, meaning that we do have a line, then we have this small description which says on line, and then it trunks the content of the line itself. Otherwise the line info will be empty, which looks okay in terms of variable naming, but also in terms of ternary usage. Then we also have suggestions, which, as you may well know, we can use the implode to literally have a suggestion divided by a comma, which looks cool as well. And the rest of it is regular, Tailwind code in HTML. So this looks very cool. I'm going to just merge this. Very good job, Konstantin. Okay, congratulations. And most of people here on the chat say they are, happy with these changes, so I'm happy as well. All right, 4 pull requests to go. So what we do have here, pull request by Ferran Keek, and it's a new feature. It adds Docker support, simplifying the setup and testing process using a Docker Compose. How many of you use Docker to literally this kind of stuff? Like literally while working on a new open source project, and then you use Docker. Do you actually use Docker? I don't use it that much, but let's see. It provides a consistent environment for building the image, installing dependencies, and running tests. Okay. So apparently this was clearly copied from past, because I can already see like that this name is still here. But yeah, I'm gonna table this pull request for now. I feel it's just super early to even think about having Docker set up on this stuff. I personally don't use Docker a lot, especially for this kind of open source stuff. So I'm gonna just table this for now, if you guys don't mind, okay? What else do we have? We have this fixed integration tests, feedwell welcome, okay. Because apparently we don't have tests passing at all to begin with. So we do know that tests are passing locally. So if I go here into PHP Storm and I run vendor bin pass, we do have tests passing as expected. And if I just type composer test, I expect to have everything still passing. But, apparently tests are not passing on the CI yet, so we do have a problem to address there. By the way, for those of you who literally just arrived to the stream, my name is Nuno, PHP and Laravel core team member, and today we are literally working on a new open source project that will fix typos in your project. Typos like wrong folder naming, wrong file names, or wrong public methods naming, or PHP annotations and things like that. So similar style to Pint or Past, it will literally just fix typos. Potentially, over the weekend, actually someone talked to me asking me if Pack will fix typos automatically. You know what I mean? It's potentially something we could work on, but I'm not sure yet. I feel like fixing typos especially on method names, for example, can be seen as a resource. Yeah, I do get you. So I do also use Docker sometimes, but for this kind of small open source projects, it does feel overkill. You know what I mean? Duca10 is asking me if the live went down. I don't think it did. What do you guys mean? Did live went down? What do you guys mean? Did the live went down? Oh my god, what do you mean? Like, how much? Oh, Twitch crashed for 20 seconds? Are you guys serious right now? Serious? But what do you mean? Like, YouTube also went down? Let me check that real quick. Now, on YouTube, I'm online with 50 people watching me. Okay, how about Kick, for example? Yeah, I'm also live on Kick. A little bit weird, huh? All right, so I don't know what did you guys miss, but if you guys missed, Halvis PT, thank you so much for the Twitch subscription. Really appreciate, you guys being supporting my work. By the way, we have more than 150 subscribers on Twitch, which feels a little bit crazy for now. It doesn't actually translate to a lot of money, as some of you may think, because literally Twitch takes 50% of that money. But, all the money I'm getting for this will be reinvested on making the stream better, So that's a cool thing. Wow. Okay, we have a lot of gifted subs. Okay, Pick and Flow, thank you so much again for gifting subs tier 1 again. That was a bunch of them, so thank you so much for your support. You have been one of the OGs of the channel, so I really appreciate your support. Valorant, thank you so much as well for the gifted subscriptions. Again, I really appreciate your support. All the money I'm getting from this, so by the way, thank you again, Pick and Flow and Valorant. All the money I'm getting from this will be reinvested on making the stream better. Really appreciate that. The train it's moving. For real, man. Hype train level 3. Wow, thank you so much, man. You guys are awesome, man. Really, thank you so much. All right, so we don't have the test suite passing, as you guys have been seen locally, but now we still need to address and fix the issue on the CI. So let's move here to Safari real quick. So on the CI, we have literally the test suite failing. Let's understand why. I'm going to click on details. So by the way, GitHub Actions literally provides you with free CI testing. So you can literally have, you can create a .github folder with this workflows folder, and you can have like multiple .yaml files that run your CI testing. And if I click on test.yaml, I can see that I have, for example, my entire test suite running. By the way, I just noticed that I actually don't have the entire test suite running because I'm running only in past. So I'm going to fix that real quick by clicking on edit this file, and I'm going to change this to, instead of having PHP and then vendor bin past, I'm going to have composer test, which literally runs all the tests I can think of. Let me think what I have here on formats though, because I may actually run Pint there now that I'm thinking. Yeah, that's right. So I'm running coding style checks and type checking here. So that's why I was only running past right here. Okay, that does make sense then. Never mind. But we have now someone trying to actually fix this integration test, so they are failing. So if I click on this little failure right here, I can click on details to literally understand why this is failing. And it seems that the ASPEL dependency we are doing, it's not found. So let's see the pull request to see if we have more details on this. By the way, if you don't know, we're actually using ASPEL to fix the underlying typos. So this makes me think immediately that potentially this is something that doesn't come with every operating system. So that actually might be what this pull request is about. I'm going to click on fix integration tests, feedback welcome, and let's read this. It's coming again from Konstantin. So who is the guy who have literally fixed some of the console UI? By the way, something I really appreciate is that when you are developing an open source project like this, over time, you just develop some trust with existing people. Like Konstantin already did one pull request, and that pull request was very good. So now I'm looking at this pull request with the eyes that this guy already contributed to this project, so he knows exactly what he's talking about in terms of, the project itself. You know what I mean? So people are saying that YouTube is okay. That Ben told me that, but also Kevin, Noah, and Real Software Solutions, everyone is saying that it does look okay. By the way, Peak and Flow, really thank you so much for the Twitch subscriptions. I really appreciate you being one of the OGs of this channel, and you know, supporting my work since day one. Thank you so much. And Valorant, thank you so much as well for supporting my work on Twitch. I really appreciate it. So let's look at this. Constantine is saying, with this pull request, I aim to fix the failing integration tests doing the missing Aspel installation on the action worker. So Aspel is something that may or may not come, you know, on the operating system. As you can see from the commit history, let's read this real quick. Ooh, nice. Okay. So as we can see from the commit history, installing on Windows proves to be a challenging thing to do. So as we can see from the website aspel.net, they no longer provide a Windows port, but we can use it through this thing, which tells me that it is kind of the Linux console for Windows. Do you guys know what this is, by the way? I do think that this is literally the Linux console for Windows. What do you guys think it is, by the way? So in this pull request, I also managed to install the legacy Windows port. Okay. The only problem with this is that the other OS install Aspel 0.60.8, but the legacy port for Windows uses Aspel 0.5.3. So immediately, probably something we are going to do is do not support potentially Windows on this project. You guys, you know, you probably guys think that not supporting Windows is something a little bit overkill, but in reality, people are going to still be able to use this project on WSL, basically the Linux, you know, terminal for Windows. You know, guys, you guys know what I mean? Yeah, so Redizio is saying that MSYS2 is a project that comes with multiple Linux tools to run on Windows. Interesting. Constantine Rocks is on YouTube, actually, here on the YouTube chat, which is the author of this pull request, and it says, I wasn't sure if this was the right way in the pull request, or if we should simply change the way we test the spell checker without requiring Aspel. So we do actually need to use the same tool behind the scenes, because the last thing we want is literally having the tool running locally on Windows, for example, and passing, but then failing on the CI because we are using a different driver. Do you guys know what I mean? So we do need to use Aspel or choose a different one from Aspel, but use the same across all the operating systems. So I was thinking that potentially we are going to not support Windows for now, and, you know, kind of force the users to use WSL, which is the Linux terminal on Windows. What do you guys think about that? It does seem like a good solution for you all. What do you guys think? What do we have here? So if I go to on files changed, okay, so Constantine have added one extra step, call it install Aspel on Ubuntu, macOS, on Windows, and depending if you are on Linux, macOS, or Windows, then installs literally the tool differently. So yeah, in my thinking, we are going to support this tool on Windows, but only for users who are running through WSL. Arthur is saying, I would say that that is an understandable solution. And Pick and Flow is also saying that I'm pretty sure that the majority of Windows devs are already working through WSL. I agree, man. Spot Hallen is saying, though, on YouTube, that Herd on Windows doesn't run on WSL. Yeah, but what do you mean? Like, if you, that's a question that I have, like, you Windows developers, if you have something, if you had to run something like Composer install, which terminal would you run Composer install? You run that through WSL, right? Can you guys confirm that for me, please? Constantine is also saying that if we drop the Windows step, we could No, if we drop Windows, we can use this pull request without the Windows step. Yeah, because we don't support Windows. You're right, dude. Mora is saying, what is Windows? Dude, I think you would be surprised to see how good actually Windows have become over the years. So I'm actually a Mac OS user since I can remember. I've been using Mac forever, you know, but I have the feedback I have from people is that Windows actually just become good over time. It became good over time for web development, especially through this WSL solution they have added into it, which is literally having Linux available for web development while still having Windows for games, for example. Stockton is saying, I'm on Windows, but I don't use WSL at all. Okay, this is interesting. Constantine is saying, I personally use Docker on Windows for my development environments. Okay, so you use Linux, I assume. Okay, that's cool. Jacob is saying WSL is not required to run Composer install on Windows. Yeah, so I would, yeah, I got you. Okay, dudes, we are going to, we have to not, you know, we need to move forward. So I believe that for now, we are going to discard Windows, if you guys don't mind. So we are going to assume that people are going to run this tool through you know, through WSL, or potentially we have to find another driver in the future, a driver that just works everywhere. Okay, so what I will do for now, if you guys don't mind, and potentially are going to get back into this to think a little bit about this, is that we are going to discard Windows for now. So I'm going to click on edit right here, and I'm going to go all the way down to this if condition, and I'm gonna literally just remove this for now, this little step right here, and I'm gonna also remove, you know, I don't feel we need this even, so I'm gonna remove this description right here, and I'm gonna remove Windows latest for now. Just be mindful that I'm not discarding the Windows users. I'm saying that for now, it's one thing that potentially will have a lot of thinking, and I will have to have a Windows laptop to actually test this, and it's something I don't have. So potentially something that comes from external contributions, or something we'll have to think about in the future, if you guys don't mind. Okay, I hope that's okay for you all. Okay, so I'm going to remove also Windows from this list right here, and I can also see that he's installing Aspel using this apt-get install Haspel, but also brew install Haspel. So Haspel did what it was on macOS by default, by the way. Okay, Haspel was on macOS by default, so I don't think we actually need to run even this, but I'm going to leave it for now. And I would think it's the same on Linux, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's like this specific distro who doesn't have Haspel. So I'm going to commit these changes, and I'm going to just you know, change this a little bit by so by the way, Konstantin Ross, this is not a feature. This is what I like to call a shore, basically, which is something like this, which is something that touches on the CI, anything. It's not a feature or a fix, basically, okay? So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to call this shore, CI fixing, CI testing, removes Windows for now. And commit these changes directly to your pull request. And now we know we can just put this pull request ready for review and see if the tests are actually working. So we are going to wait a little bit to see if tests are actually passing right now, okay? Danny Guzman is saying I work on Linux for now. Okay, that's cool. Yep. Arthur is saying the real problem that I personally had with Windows is tools not being totally compatible and giving problems on installation. Yeah, which, you know, if you use WSL, you don't have a problem with that. So I feel we're chilling on that. Judizio is saying you are limited if your PHP code requires Linux plugins. So I don't think Aspel is actually not available on Linux. I think it's only the specific distro, which is used by, here it says Ubuntu, but I would be very surprised if the regular Ubuntu installation doesn't come with Aspel. By the way, if we start seeing that Aspel is actually a problem, like literally, you know, have to be available on Ubuntu, needs to be installed through apt-get, but also it's not available on Windows. If we start seeing that Aspel has a lot of problems, what I think we need to do is literally go to, you know, to this PHP spell checker thing we are using and potentially change, instead of using Aspel, change to something like Hunspell or eSpell, or, you know, something different, basically. Carlon from YouTube is saying, I use a WSL2 in plus Docker, okay. Constantine Sad is saying that, yep, Docker as well. Jefferson Gonçalves is saying good night. Hello, Jefferson. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here, man. Samu Deep is saying, I've been using macOS for the last 4 years, and it's the best decision I have made. I mean, I've been using macOS since the last 15 years, and it's just basically the only thing I know, basically, at the moment, you know? And it just works so good that I don't want to think about anything else. I remember being a user of Arch Linux when I was, you know, when I was in college back in the days, and it was such a pain to literally, you know, I felt it was such a pain as an operating system that it was always causing problems. Probably have changed since then, but, you know, not a big fan. By the way, guys, let me know how the music is. You guys can hear the music. Do you guys find the music comfortable as well? I personally love to be, you know, on the chat with this kind of background music, but let me know what you guys think. Peter Gins is saying, once I use Mac, you never go back. Yeah, that's what I also feel. Mo Mizrak is saying, hi Noon, what do you think about my new Laravel package? Let's see what your package is about. I'm going to copy here, right here. I'm going to put it right here on stream. So Mo have created this validator guard, which, you know, enables attribute-driven validation for Laravel. Oh, interesting. So it seems that you basically allow to this method to have some sort of validation on the given argument. Gotcha. Yeah, looks cool, man. Looks a cool package. I'm gonna give it a star. Congratulations by this new open source package. Looks really cool. We have a place, by the way, on the Discord chat where you can literally place links like this, and potentially some of them we are going to see them on the live stream. You know, we have a place on Discord called a showcase channel. You can just leave some links there, and I'm going to potentially have a live stream just about those links. Okay, by the way, if someone is on the Discord, can you guys leave the link here on Twitch so I can copy paste? I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So again, we are going to merge this, but potentially in the future we are going to change the driver, if you guys don't mind. Okay, so Pick and Flow already have shared the Discord link. I'm going to publish it here on YouTube, but also on X. By the way, is the stream on X actually even working? You guys are scared the shit out of me when you guys are saying that the Twitch streamed failed a little bit. Yeah, seems to be working. Okay, never mind. Midnight 8K is saying, well, Arch Linux is the opposite of macOS in terms of stability. So true, dude. It was such a problem. Pick and Flow is saying that the music is chill and the level is cool. All right, thank you. Okay, we have good feedback here on YouTube. So TDP Pop is saying that good night everyone. Hunspell is installable on Windows via native CLI tool Winget. TD Pop is saying that hungspell is better than aspell. Okay, so I need probably more feedback in terms of this. So if any of you would like to actually run the serious investigation, trying to understand if hungspell can be installed or comes by default potentially on Ubuntu, but also on macOS and potentially on Windows, if it's something really be easy and better than aspell, you guys can do a contribution literally to change that. So you guys probably have seen the code already. If you go to Pack PHP, click on source, and we have this services, spell checkers. We have this in-memory spell checker. So it doesn't use any API. It's something that runs natively. You click on it, and you can see that by default we are using aspell, but you can literally you can literally just come here and change this to hungspell, potentially just use a different driver if you want to, and we are going to see if it works really cool. Okay. All right, dudes, let's keep going. So at this point, I feel like the integration tests already, yeah, they are working, they are passing as expected. So if I click on checks, I can see that I have 10 checks passing as expected. So what I can do here is literally just merge this pull request because all of the checks are passing. So we now have at least integration tests that are working as expected, which is pretty cool. Let's now go to this new pull request coming from Hacks Heaven. And it says a new git ignore addition, blank line removal. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna click on files changed. Wow, okay, this is definitely a problem. So what I do see, by the way, what this tells me is that Laravel Pint is not literally checking this file at the moment, because Laravel Pint should actually have fixed this for me. You guys know what I mean? Which makes me think something real quick. I'm gonna type Laravel Pint and go to the documentation. Can we decide like the folders we want to scan literally? I coded this project, but I literally forget how can I do that. But yeah, I think I'm going to check that later. But potentially, this tells me that the pint.json is not scanning the bin folder, and it should. So yeah, the second contribution X Heaven is doing is literally removing this .ide, which is used a lot by editors. So I'm going to keep this pull request, keep this content of the pull request. Sounds a good idea. Okay. Just gonna merge this. Good job, man. Thank you for this. All right, so some of you, like one of the questions received a lot in the past live stream is that how can I start contributing to open source? So this is actually a great way of developing your portfolio, is literally just doing contributions like this. It's so easy, man. You go to an existing project and you start making contributions, and suddenly when you are applying for a new job, you can literally say that you are one of the main contributors of something like Pack PHP. Like, as you guys well know, Pack PHP is not yet big, you know, but projects like Past, Pint, Pale, those are big, man. Like, those are projects with more than thousands of GitHub stars at the moment. So potentially, you know, Pack will be one of them. That is I would say there is a likelihood, a very high likelihood of Pack actually being big on the PHP ecosystem, because it's literally something that I personally would use myself, and there is nothing like this yet. So, you know, when you are applying to a new job, you can literally say, I'm an open source enthusiastic, you know, I have done open source contributions. One of them was for Pack, for this, and that. And I'm in Mlog, I'm also like one of the top 3 contributors or top 5 contributors. So this is a great way of getting started, as you guys can see. Kevin is saying you don't want to squash merge. Yeah, potentially something we need to implement here is squash merge, indeed. Constantine Ross is saying, I will need to leave soon, got an early shift tomorrow. But maybe open a discussion or a issue where the community should discuss the different spell checkers on different OSs. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So I'm going to go to issues, create a new issue right here. Haspel. What are the names of the packages, by the way? Let me go there real quick. So I'm going to copy this real quick. Go to issues, new issue. Aspel, Hunspell, Hispell, PHP spell language tools, or other. And I can just type to this. We have recently noticed that Aspel does not come by default on Ubuntu, but worst, it does not seem to be well supported on Windows. So potentially we are going to need a better solution that ideally just works on any operating system. So this looks cool. Let's keep this issue open to hear what the community thinks about this, but also to keep track of the investigations people may have on this. So I'm going to submit this issue, and I'm going to copy paste this issue and put it on the Twitch chat, but also on the YouTube chat. By the way, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP and Laravel core team member, and today we are literally keep working on this Pack PHP project. So I'm the author of tools like Pack PHP, Pint PHP, and on the similar style, we are literally developing a CLI tool designed to identify wording or spelling mistakes in my code base. Okay, so the goal is literally allowing people to have something like vendor bin pack in their CI or locally, and that will just tell you that you have a typo on this file name, you have a typo on this method name, you have a typo on this annotation. So something really cool that works like that. So I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube, but I'm also publishing YouTube videos at 1 p.m. every single day. So there is a few ways you guys can support my work. One of them is just putting like on YouTube. That really helps. But also you can support financially my work on Twitch, on YouTube, YouTube through YouTube members, but on Twitch as a Twitch subscriber. All the money I'm getting from this will be to make the stream better. Let me change the music a little bit here. There we go. Ducatan is saying the main problem I have when thinking about contribution is thinking about ideas or new things to implement and fix. So yeah, as I was saying, typically the contributions that I like the most are the smallest ones. You know, things like the CI is like failing and you can, just fix a test that is broken, or potentially you read the documentation, it's missing, it has some typos potentially, for example, you can just address that as well. So it's something like very small, and over time, if you keep doing small contributions, you will get the trust of the package author and potentially become, part of his brain trust group potentially. I have a lot of people which over time they actually become a lot of trustworthy people in my, you know, on my Telegram group, for example. On pinkery.com it was actually a good example where I have actually managed to create other stuff with people that started on Pinkery. So I feel like, you know, potentially on this project, if some of you will actually be contributors, and you know, potentially this will be just one of the things we are going to build together. And in the future, we are going to keep building more stuff together, and potentially some of these things are going to actually become big, which I do think will be the case for Pack PHP. Okay, so let's actually pull all the code we have merged and pull this locally. So I'm going to go here and simply just type git status. I do have some stuff here, which I'm going to literally just reset art, and I'm going to do git pull. Okay, so this will basically pull all of the things we have merged so far. Potentially, if I run my test suite, I have everything still passing, which is what I do expect, by the way. And everything is passing. We have 100% test coverage, which is pretty cool. I'm going to type composer update to see if we have any dependency that got updated recently. We don't. And I'm going to also type composer bump to literally, as you may well know, I have literally this, you know, let's say, thing I always do, which is literally just type composer bump. We'll potentially just, you know, every time you have something like, you know, potentially like 3.7.0, if you type composer bump, we'll automatically change this from 0 to 1, which is something I always like to do. So if I type composer bump, I see that none of the dependencies got updated, which is pretty cool. Midnight 8K is saying 100% test coverage is pretty cool. Congrats, man. Yeah, I also think it's a very important thing to have. I have done a couple of live streams already where I have shown to people that using TDD, it's literally about keeping this 100% you know, test coverage a lot. And it's pretty cool that also on this package we have 100% type, not only 100% code coverage, but also 100% type coverage, meaning that all of our code is fully typed. Okay, everything is like literally fully typed, including generically typed, which is pretty cool. Xcrap Azores is saying, I really, who really likes the word potentially? Well, dude, you know, I've been noticing that I do say a lot of things a lot of times. Like one of them is this, you know. So once I was literally recording a video like this 2024 year in review, and I made the math and I had like more than 10 you know, literally. Yeah, this literally as well. I'm always saying this. It's something I cannot avoid, you know, especially if you are doing a live stream, you are going to be a little bit yourself, you know. X Azores is saying that everyone has their special words or expressions. Yeah, man, especially if I'm like little on live stream, I cannot fake it. Like if you're writing a tweet, if I'm writing a tweet, for example, or if I am recording a video where I can edit things out, I can fake it a little bit, but on live stream, I cannot fake it. You know, I'm literally being myself. So yeah. Sangi Mad, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi, by the way. Samudeep is saying, if you are not native, you will have that kind of expressions. Yeah, man. I'm trying to... I don't know if those expressions are annoying. If they are, I apologize about that. But I'm going to work on, you know, trying to avoid them a little bit. They are a little bit fillers as well, so. Arthur is saying that's not fully bad. Using those expressions are helping you maintaining a thought process. Yep. I think that's it. João Paulo, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you. Emerson Almada is asking you, hi Nuno, how would you recommend anyone to learn PHP if they were to start today? My favorite place to learn PHP is laracast.com. So this is literally the place I have started to learn PHP. So I'm going to just copy paste this link if you want to see it in the future. It's literally a place where you can search for, I think they literally just recreated the PHP series now. If I search for series, there we go. Yeah, they just recreated the PHP object-oriented principles. It's the place that I would you know, learn PHP if I were to start today. Laracast is amazing. Personally, it's my favorite place to learn PHP. Carlson is saying Geo on YouTube. Okay, so Geo on YouTube is potentially a good place to run PHP. Soai is saying, you good man, that's 100% neutral, repeating some words. Thank you so much for that. Okay, dudes, let's continue to make some progress. Let's move here into live screen again. So we just pull it like the recent code. So something I'm going to see now is this new UI. So if I create something like, let's say, person with double N, for example. So obviously there is a problem with this file name. As you guys can see, we have a double N. If I run our tool, pack, just like that, it will potentially detect that. There we go. So it says that we have a misspelling detected on persons. In the misspelling is persons. Did you mean persons? Persons? Oh my god, I love this so much, man. Such a cool tool. Something I have noticed is that there is no space between the bin pack in the issue itself, so we can fix this real quick. I'm gonna go to our console default command, and I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, just like that. And I'm going to render the issue. Something I want to do is that if we have issues, I want to add an empty space in between. Let me just double check, like what happens if I have two problems? Like, you know, I'm going to type cars with double, you know, incorrectly, .php. What happens to the output, by the way? Okay, so there is an empty line between two issues, but we don't have an empty line on the very first issue. So I feel like we can quickly address this issue by outputting something if we do have issues. So if the count of those issues is bigger than one, then the only thing I'm going to do is just type this output. Do we have an output? Yeah, we do. Output write new line with an empty message. That should give me pretty much an empty output, literally one line between pack and issue. So as you guys can see now, we have this little empty line which gives the console output some more space to breathe, and it just feels better basically. Okay. Midnight 8K is saying, the last time I have touched on PHP was on PHP 5, and I know that a lot have changed since then. Yeah, man. So Midnight 8K, if you don't work with PHP, you're probably one of those folks who have seen PHP like 10 years ago or something like that. Or probably like more than 10 years ago, since you are talking about PHP 5. So that may have been, yeah, more than 10 years ago, for sure. So something I can tell you from someone like me who have worked with TypeScript, you know, TypeScript, Python, Ruby, in a lot of different languages, Rust, for example, is that PHP have evolved a lot since then. So you still find weird shit. Like, to be honest, you still see some weird things, but PHP have improved a lot. So for example, you have PHP stan if you want the same experience as TypeScript, for example. You know, you have Pint to literally have the same experience as ESLint. You have Past if you want something like Jest. So if you're coming from a JavaScript background, this literally, you know, that's it. PHP is as impressive as TypeScript at the moment, to be fair, you know what I mean? So with other languages, I could also give you the, you know, the same comparison. Like, for example, we have Composer, which is NPM, which is Cargo in Rust, you know, PHP stand for Rust C and Rust as well, Clippy to Pint. So we have all that cool stuff. We don't have test natively, so you need Past basically. With Rust, it just comes natively. But yeah. Mora is saying that you can use output new line. Well, you can do that on Laravel. I'm not sure if we can do that on Symfony. Let me check that. Yeah, new line. Oh, it does exist. Or it doesn't exist. I don't know. I'm gonna just type Pack to see. Yeah, it doesn't. So the output new line is actually something that comes with Laravel. It's not something native on Symfony. Okay. Midnight is saying pretty cool. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Hagi Dagger is asking if PHP Stan is the same as Lara Stan. So PHP Stan is type safety, or we can say type checking or static analysis for PHP. And Lara Stan is an extension to make PHP Stan understand Laravel, basically, you know, because there's a lot of magic within Laravel. Kevin Pfeiffer is saying past is just a PHP unit wrapper with different syntax. Well, it's definitely something built on top of PHP unit, but it's not just a wrapper. If you go to Pasty's website, I'm gonna just show you real quick. So by the way, I'm actually Past PHP's author, so I've created Past, and if you go all the way down, you will have this list of features that you would typically not find this on PHP unit, but also you won't find these features in any other testing framework, you know, on even the language, you know what I mean? Like we have stress testing natively for PHP, for example. We have mutation testing built in on Past as well. We have profile analysis, which will tell you the top 10 slowest tests, for example. We have built-in coverage reports on the terminal. You don't have to go to the HTML, for example. We have parallel support natively as well. We have type coverage, which will tell you how much coverage in types you have in your project, if you are using, you know, a project fully typed or not, and you have literally a coverage report on that. We have architectural testing as well, so you can literally say something like, I expect my Laravel models to be only used on the controllers layer, for example. We have snapshot testing, team manager, to-dos, retry. So, you know, calling this just a PHP unit wrapper, I don't think it's just a PHP unit wrapper. But, you know, I'm going to leave to you that statement. And, you know, it's something that I would like you to reconsider, basically. Okay. Thank you. So Kevin Pfeiffer answered me back saying that it's a PHP unit wrapper with extended features. That's right, dude. That's something like, it didn't happen to me only, but sometimes when you are talking about a package, using the word just is a little bit offensive in the sense that it's not only like a simple API on top of PHP unit. Effectively, it's months and months of work on top of what PHP unit gives. Undeniably, what we have on PHP unit is crazy cool. You know, PHP unit is awesome, and Past wouldn't be possible without PHP unit. But you know, I'm grateful with what PHP unit offers, but undeniably what Past offers on top of PHP unit is a little bit more, you know? So Redizio is saying that PHP Stan is great, but I think the project should be migrated to something like Rust. When the project is big, PHP Stan is slow. There is some, well, PHP Stan actually have a lot of caching features, so I don't face those problems of PHP Stan being slow. Be sure that you are literally using the caching features that PHP Stan offers you, okay? Be careful about that. All right, dudes, let's move forward. What else do I want to do here? So we have issues with the red label behind, misspelling detected. Do we want to use misspelling or typo? Probably misspelling, yeah. Misspelling detected We can probably remove the detected wording here, I feel like. Just misspelling in cars. Yeah, misspelling in cars. And then, do you mean cars, blah, 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 blah? Yeah, this looks cool. Yeah, this is looking cool. So I want to see, like, what is the output today if we don't have any problems? Like, if I remove cars and if I remove persons, what is currently the output I see on the console? So it's nothing. We definitely need to develop something that will give us back some sort of feedback. I'm going to go to my default command, and if we don't have any issue, which is right here, we can probably give some feedback to the user. So what I will do here is literally just have this write new line above the if condition. And if the if condition is equals to 0, so if we don't have any issues, what I will do is return success. You know what I mean? And then we can have a placeholder within. So I'm going to return success here, and just below, if we have any problems, I can already safely return a failure at the end, because we know we are going to end up always with problems. So in here, I can have some sort of placeholder for when we don't have issues found. So I'm going to go to this render issue, and I'm going to copy this little labeling on top. I'm going to just copy this and put it right here. And I'm going to use termwind again. So I'm going to render just literally using the same output, but also render with the following HTML content. So again, if you haven't heard this, termwind is literally Tailwind CSS for the console. So I can literally do stuff like mx2, margin bot 1, space in between two elements of 1, bg red, and those kind of things, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to just close this div as well and move it all the way down. This is looking good. So what I can do now is just close it, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to type here HTML to literally close that given HTML on top. Something a lot of people don't know is that when you are working with multi-line strings on PHP, something you can do is literally have this 3 brackets and then the content you have within the string. So if I were to have something like PHP, I could do just this, and then I would have syntax highlighting on any PHP I have inside, like public function or whatever, you know what I mean? So since we are working with HTML, something you can do is just literally type HTML here. And then all the content inside of this string will have some sort of HTML syntax highlighting, okay? So what I will do here as well is having this green BG green potentially with text white as well, of course, but also with some sort of content inside that does not represent an issue. Here I'm going to say good, but I want you guys to tell me on the chat, what should we type when there is no problems at all? So we're talking literally about this, just to be clear. So you guys see this good right here? So literally, what do you guys think it should be here, by the way? We can have pass potentially. So this is what we have on past PHP, is literally this pass thing, which could potentially use that, by the way. And we can also have this new line in every kind of use case. Tuto1902 is saying, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you here, by the way. Arthur is saying, that's powerful. Thank you for telling us that. Yeah, you talking about this HTML thing, like literally being able to have multi-line strings. Yeah, it's a powerful thing to use. Tuto is saying Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Nice to see you here, man. Moda is saying use pass or success. Let's see how success looks like. Okay, I'm going to just literally copy the success message. I think I like pass more, but let's see. What do you guys think? Do you like pass or do you like success? Which one do you like the more? Redizio is saying pass, Tuto is saying pass, Arthur is saying pass. Okay. Joke 2K is saying every package is just something built on top of PHP built-in functions, by the way. Yeah, I think it's, you know, getting back into the topic of the just, I think it's overall it's very difficult to build something on your own. So you are going to always build something on top of existing stuff, you know, either that being PHP or Symfony components or Laravel stuff. So I think the fact that past PHP is built on top of PHP unit pays some tribute to how cool PHP unit is. So yeah. Kevin Pfeiffer is saying that it's called Hiridoc. Okay, so by the way, for those who were listening what I was saying about this HTML thing, highlighting the content inside, this is called, thanks to Kevin, this is called literally, what did I see? Yeah, Hiridoc. Okay, in case you want to see a little bit more about this on the PHP documentation. It's a pretty cool thing that I like to do on my PHP code. So on YouTube chat, most of people are saying to use pass, so which is pretty cool. And on Twitch, pretty much everyone is saying that I should use pass. Yeah, let's use pass for now. Manuel Guzman is asking, I just arrived, what this package is for. Well, welcome to the stream, nice to see you here. For those who just arrived and if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer, and I stream every single day at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube. And we're currently building a tool that looks pretty much like past PHP. So you type something like vendor bin past or vendor bin pint, and we are building something which will be the next generation of detecting misspellings in your project. Call it Pack. Okay, currently it's called Pack. It might change over time, but the goal of this package is literally telling you that if you have problems in terms of wording or misspellings in your code. So if you have, for example, a file name with the name cars with double R, which is, you know, as you well know, like incorrect, I'm going to tell you that it is a typo. The typo is cars, and I'm going to tell you what do you probably mean. Do you mean careers? Do you mean cards? So I'm going to, you know, just tell you that there is a typo over there. And today, hopefully, what time is it? I don't know what time is it, who cares, but today the goal is literally expand this to PHP annotations as well, okay? And we are kind of working right now on the output when there is no problem, and I can see that I have a passing label, which most of people like here on the chat, and the description is no misspellings found on the given directory, which I can probably make a better job here. No misspellings found in your project. Just like that. Looks a little bit better. What do you guys think? Samu Deep is saying none of the recommendations is cars. Yeah, I agree with you. That probably something that people meant here is cars. However, below we do have persons, for example, when we have a double N persons. So, oh my God, Manny just asked on Twitch what this package is for. I hope you heard the explanation. If you haven't, let me know and I will explain again. That's fine. Someone is saying to use hooray instead of pass. Yeah, I like pass better though. All right, dudes, this is looking really cool. I want to make a new feature today though. Obviously, we make good progress on this package, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the words we need to ignore by default. You know what I mean? So we have seen this pull request today coming from a community member. If I click here, oh my God, we have 3 more pull requests. Let's check those real quick. I hope they are not big. So the first one is from PPNO, and it adds a render pass if no misspelling detected. Did we just do that? Yeah, oh well, I really appreciate your pull request. By the way, it's coming from PPNO. So I really appreciate your pull request, and I'm gonna showcase your GitHub profile, but we literally just did this. So thank you for this though, really appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna have to, you know, close this, but thank you so much. Samu Deep is saying, does it detect the language you are using? I think the language will be an option at some point. Undeniably, if you are coding not using English, I don't know, man. I want to ask you this. What do you guys think, like here on YouTube, but also on Twitch? What do you guys think about the language you guys use on code? I always use English. I've always used English to code, you know? Do you guys use anything else than English, like for your coding stuff? What do you guys think? Jukatan is saying, I don't use anything else, English all the way. Yeah, me too, man. Literally English all the time. Xcrapazores is saying, I'm Portuguese, but I always code in English. It's a common language of coding. I agree, man. Where are you from, Crapazores? Arthur is saying, I always code on English unless someone asks me to use another language. Tuto English as well. Mora is saying that English for me as well, easier to get other people in. I agree. Midnight HK is saying, I'm also Portuguese, but I use English in coding stuff. By the way, Midnight, you were saying that you have not seen PHP for a while. What language do you use for coding, by the way? Crapazores, you are from São Miguel. Well, that's why you have Azores on the name. Samudeep is saying, but if you have a text, yeah, that's actually a good question. Samudeep is saying, if you have text, for example, on your buttons in Blade, for example, does it detect multiple languages? I think that's a very valid point and something we'll have to think about, undeniably. That's a very good point. By the way, I would appreciate, Samu Deep, if you can come to these issues and literally just explain your point, because it's actually a very valid point. Like, if you have a button, for example, on HTML that have a, you know, something written in Portuguese, for example, or written in Spanish, you want literally have this package as well, checking from some of those typos, which is very interesting, by the way. Midnight 8K is saying, I code in Java, Kotlin, Swift, and Go. Jack of, trades off, masters of none. Gotcha. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I know today is PHP, so I hope you learn a little bit about how PHP is different today. Sarah is saying, hello Nuno, thanks for all you do for the Laravel and for the Laravel community. Thank you. Carlson is saying, IT is trash if we don't do English. Sarah is also saying that it does use English everywhere, manual English everywhere. Julio as well, we always use English. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't remember the last time I've seen a project written in anything else than English, okay? Carlson is saying that I have a project written in Laravel 5 years ago from where the previous devs have written comments in models naming things in German. And it's just hell. Yeah, it's just confusing seeing things in different languages. Midnight UK is saying, thank you, I've learned a lot. Yeah, man, like, I hope you're appreciating this. We also have something on the PHP ecosystem called Laravel, which I'm also a Laravel core team member, but it's a web framework, and you can literally get stuff done so fast with Laravel. It's truly impressive. Yeah, by the way, we can have all our code written in English. It does not mean that we cannot have front end with HTML sometimes in different languages. We just have to use Laravel translations or other kind of features that potentially your front-end framework gives you to have stuff written on different languages. That's okay, by the way. That's perfectly fine. Sarah is asking if this spelling check can be automatically invoked when testing with pass. So I was thinking that this vendor bean pack will leave a next side to your tooling. So you know, probably most of you are using something like Pint, for example, right? So if you are using Pint and you are using as well Past, I believe that we are going to see pack on something like test typos, something really cool like this, and then you are going to run pack. That's it. Actually, we may as well add this. So I'm going to just type here test typos. So we have test types, but also test typos. That's why I think I would love to see this package being called Pipo, because I just feel it makes a lot of sense. However, I did run a Twitter poll today where most of people prefer to see pack. Let me check how that Twitter poll is doing, by the way. Okay, well, it's surprising. It's a little bit surprising. So we have 200 answers on our Twitter poll, and 37% say that we should use pack. 30% say that we should use Pipo from typo, which is interesting. Only 20% say Paxi, by the way. So I don't know, man. It will be tough. It will be very tough to choose this name, man. Samu Deep is saying that the issue was added. Cool. So if I go to Safari real quick, we have the multiple languages detection, which is pretty cool stuff to think about. Thank you for this, Samuel. Really appreciate it. Arthur is saying Laravel is really nice. I'm learning pure PHP in school. And after learning coding in Laravel, my perspective on PHP has changed completely. I agree, man. Okay, folks, we need to make some progress. We were reviewing pull requests, right? Yeah, we were doing that. What do we have here? We have another git ignore with no description. And it's literally just adding this .fleet.vs code. So some people, I'm going to tell you something that I don't agree typically. Some people actually think that they will tell you stuff like, oh, if you have editor stuff, you should add it to the git ignore globally. I don't agree with that. Like, why wouldn't that be here if you can save some pain to the maintainers? So, Jefferson, I'm going to merge this because I personally, I don't think those extra lines on my git ignore hurt whatsoever. So thank you for this pull request, by the way. Giulio Cavalgari is saying that Pipo makes it look like this is a package related to Python. That's the only problem, man. That's the only problem of Pipo, basically. Jean-Paul is asking me if I'm going to have more lives about Filament PHP. Potentially, because we do have to get back into the Developers Live project and work a little bit more on this. Diego is saying, hi Nuno, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you so much for coming to the stream today. It's nice to see you. Thank you. What do we have here? Well, apparently Pick and Flow just made the pull request, so Pick and Flow, as you well know, is one of the OG's supporters of this channel. He is always on the chat, which is pretty cool. He's also on Discord, and what he have done is probably interesting. So let's read this. So it's a new feature, as we can see here, and the description is the following. This pull request adds a whitelist command functionality for Pack, allowing users to specify words that should be ignored by the spell checker, which is particularly useful for technical terms, project-specific terminology. This is a very important point, which is if you have a specific word, which is something probably not common in English and only exists on that project because it's specific to the project, users will have to have a way of adding those words to be ignored by Pack. So that's something we need for sure. I'm curious to see how this pull request actually collides in terms of things with this one from Julio. So let's see. Let's continue to read the pick and flow pull request. Features added. New whitelist add command, precision storage to the whitelisted words in .pack whitelist.json. So I'm going to tell you up front, pick and flow, I would rather to see this under a pack.json only, and that's it. So we don't have to literally have other options being on different files. That's it. Integration with existing spell checker to ignore whitelisted words, and the whitelist manager service to handling whitelist operations. And the command is pack whitelist, that two options, add and then the word. Let's see the code itself. Okay, so something pick and flow that potentially you can do on future pull requests, just as a general thing to think about, is when you are working on a new feature like this one, you want to kind of focus only on that feature. So here, for example, I'm seeing changes that are not related to the feature you are contributing to, you know what I mean? So here you want to add a command to whitelist words, but you're also making changes on the auto load and changes as well on how you load commands. These changes might actually be small, but potentially if there is a problem with these changes, I will have to this will have to be blocked because of those changes. You know what I mean? So ideally you would focus only on the things you are working on, and that's it. Pick and flow is just answer saying that it does make sense. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Simon Deep is saying something really interesting, which is, I guess you want to gain money with this project at some point. So I'm going to tell you something. If you're doing open source thinking that you are going to do money, you can just already forget that. So being truly honest, I do money with my open source stuff. So if I go to PHP.com, you can see a bunch of logos here. So I'm making money by having this company supporting my work. But this money will never pay the amount of time I spend doing open source. Never. Never. Like literally. If I were to do freelancing to other companies instead of doing open source, I will do 100 or probably 1,000 times more money than I'm doing on this open source stuff. Same can be said with streaming, by the way. I won't make money on streaming. Like I'm pretty confident that 2 days on freelancing work will give me the same amount of money that I will do in 1 year streaming. Just being fully transparent with you. You know what I mean? Because streaming will potentially give me, I don't know, probably $500 this month. But, you know, I will make a lot of money from streaming, just like I won't make money from open source. I can make some money out of it, but I won't make a lot of money. It will never pay the time I'm putting on this stuff. I do open source for the same reason I do streaming. I just love it. You know, it's just kind of relaxing for me. I love to speak with people here, and you know, I made friends. Like Pick and Flow has been here since day one, but also Daki10 has been here from day one as well. Other people, Josh, for example, some of you have been here since day one, and I'm starting making connections with some of you. And it's just relaxing. It's literally fun, to be honest. So, and with open source, it's the same stuff. Gives me opportunities to have fun, like going to conferences, potentially, you know, opens me job opportunities. This is something important as well, is that when you do open source projects, you probably want to do it for the portfolio only, to really have more job opportunities, not exactly for making money. If you want to make money, do other stuff, like do a product, you know, do a SaaS, for example, go do freelancing work, which you can do a lot of money these days. But open source is definitely not the way that you cannot do money. It's definitely not something that works, you know. Only very, very, very few people actually make money from open source. Only very, very few people. It's very difficult. Pick and Flow is saying that I didn't have any testing before, I didn't know how, and I started before you said PRs should be small. That's alright, dude, it's perfectly okay. Don't worry about that, okay? I'm gonna still review your pull request live, if you don't mind. Let me know in the comments. Okay. Thank you. All right, let's move forward. So we were checking the pull request from Pick and Flow. And yeah, one of the things, you know, that you should keep in mind is if you're contributing to one thing, just keep focused only on the code of that thing, okay? What else do we have? So we have a new command. So something I would recommend you as future pull requests is focus like on the coding style of the existing project. For example, something I immediately noticed here is I don't see any comments. So I typically like to have those comments to have some space to breathe to the code, like literally PHP annotations on top of any method. And the question here is not if those PHP comments should be there or not. It's literally just to keep the project consistent in terms of styling. So something I would do differently here is adding some PHP docs right here, okay? So let me just take a high overview of this to see if to see what we have here. Okay, actually I really like this stuff of, okay, this is actually interesting. So something Pick and Flow have done here is that he allowed the comments to be injected, and he also made the default implementation to have those commands. So I basically what we did here, which is interesting, it's not part of the topic of the pull request, but it's a good contribution overall. So something you did here is that when you are resolving the kernel, you can get the default commands from kernel and add them to the application, which is interesting. So I do like that change, by the way, even though it's not like part of the pull request in terms of content, topic basically. And yeah, dude, you know, like for example, like removing existing style, for example, is not something that should be part of the topic of the pull request. It's literally something like should probably go to a different pull request and be discussed with the maintainer if he's okay with that. Which is I'm not, basically. I like to see these comments basically all the time. Oh, which is interesting because here you had the comments though. Samu Deep is about cohesion. I like when programming. Yeah, I like to call it consistency. So basically I like to see if we have PHP annotations, let's just have them everywhere. Same goes with types. If we are using types, let's use types everywhere. If we are using dependency injection, let's use dependency injection everywhere. It's literally about that, you know what I mean? Thank you, Pick and Flow, for agreeing with me. Thank you. So what I will do, I think, is that, so we definitely have two big pull requests. We have one from Pick and Flow, which allows us to whitelist stuff, but we also have another one from Giulio, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's from Giulio. Yeah, Giulio Cavallari, which they kind of do the same. I want to take a look about Giulio's Cavallari pull request. So let's see. We have more files changed though. This is like 10 files changed. So Giulio Cavallari is also apparently adding a feature to ignore paths. So literally to ignore as well some of the paths of the folder. What do we have here? So So we have this final class configuration, which allows us to have literally this parsing the file as an object-oriented approach. So we can literally just get, you know, values from the configuration. We can add stuff to the configuration potentially. Gotcha. Let me read this real quick. And this is literally testing. Gotcha. Wow, this is a lot of testing, by the way, which is interesting. So what I think we can do is start by this pull request from Julio, have this merge, rework the pull request locally, and then come back into Peek and Flow pull request and add some of the things we want, because it feels to me that I do want these changes being made on the pack binary. So I want these changes, but I also want some of the changes he have made on the default implementation of the kernel. And I also want this whitelist command approach. So I'm going to start by the Julio's pull request and then go to Peek and Flow pull request and cherry pick the things I want. Because, you know, Peek and Flow have this approach of having a separate file for the whitelisted stuff, and definitely I want a single file with all the options. So I'm going to cherry pick some of the stuff from Peek and Flow. Okay, so what I will do here is just review this real quick, and I'm going to merge probably this pull request for now and then rework it locally, change by change. There is a lot of tests here, which is really useful as well. Yeah, this one is interesting. I'm curious about something though. When I do something like config where whitelisted word, does this change actually persists on the file itself? Let me check that real quick. It doesn't. So we get the instance and then we add that to the instance, but it's like stays in memory. And I cannot see that at any point we do persist this on the file itself. So we are going to have to do this, by the way. So where does this get actually used? It doesn't. Only on testing. So typically something I don't like to see is a public API of a class being there just for the sake of testing. So for example, here, I can see that we have this add whitelisted word, and this is basically only be used on testing. And if I go to remove whitelisted word, it's only also being used on testing, which tells me that probably shouldn't be there to begin with, and we should find another way of testing this. Tuto just did a short with my open source is not for money. I agree, man. It's definitely not for money. Samudeep is saying you should add only the things you need or you want to use. Yeah, definitely we should do that real quick. I want to see as well how exactly this pull request impacts the contract we have, because I don't know if you guys remember, but if I go here real quick to this contracts folder, which is right here, we do have this implementation that every checker should have. Currently, we only have the in-memory checker, which uses Aspel behind the scenes, and we just give basically a bunch of parameters, and we get back the issues, an array of issues. So something I'm curious is that why would he, for example, not provide the whitelisted words on the parameters instead of having another method? Because he's literally providing another method for this, which potentially could be done differently. I'm pretty sure he could, yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to merge this and then, you know, work locally, removing some of the things you have done. So merging this and then pulling this as well locally. Oh, I definitely want to add this first. So this is feet adds a placeholder when Pack detects no issues. I'm gonna push this. And now we have some problems real, so I'm gonna pull it. And I can push now. So I literally rebased what we had on origin, and now we are literally full up to date. If I run composer test, I expect to have a passing test suite, and I don't, which probably is related to some of the things I have done here. I apologize about that. So I'm going to just sure fixes composer JSON file. That should be good now if I run composer test. Carlson is saying, why not a new branch? Why not working on his branch before merging? You know, I could do that, but I just want to move fast. Like something a little bit that you probably will have to do, especially on this early stage of projects, is just move fast. Just literally work on main. Because right now, the project is not tagged, it's not on beta, it's not on alpha, it's literally on this whip phase where you just want to get stuff done. You know, so I don't want to be concerned or think about branching, or, you know, I want to move as fast as possible, and I literally just do everything on main. I don't care. Literally, I don't care. But I could, I mean, if I would, you know, if this were to be Laravel, the framework, or past, what I probably would have done is create a new branch, merge his branch on that new branch, rework the changes, and then merge that pull request all the way down to main. There was a good, by the way, there was a good comment from Carlson, but also Joke2K, that, you know, that I should have probably worked on the different branch. But it's, you know, when I want to move fast, I don't think too much about those things. Joke2K is saying, if you don't finish the work now, I will finish the work now. There's a good point, man. Like, your comments are actually good points. Oops. All right, we should be chilling now. Brian is saying, sue me. Joke2K is saying, I like the optimism. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are going to finish this fast today. Okay. All right, so one of the changes from Julio was having this class configuration. So obviously, if we have a pack.json, and I do like the pack.json approach, we are going to have this configuration file that are going to wrap that given JSON on an object-oriented approach. Okay, let's take a look about this, because there's a few things I noticed immediately and I want to fix them real quick. The first thing I want to do is probably change some of that test suite, because I noticed that the test suite is literally relying on this public API that shouldn't be there to begin with. So what I will do here real quick is just remove all this public API, which is being used only for testing. So I'm going to literally just remove all of this. Okay, so I'm going to remove all of this, and what I think will happen immediately is that my test suite will fail, and most likely to fail under tests unit configuration. There we go. So obviously it's failing because that public API, it's no longer there, and it's only being used, you know, to literally do stuff on the testing side of things. So something we can do here is that instead of using the public API, I'm going to use some PHP magic to access this private variable stuff. Let's see what we have here. So this is the final class configuration, and add whitelist was literally just putting stuff on this public array. Yeah, which, let me check real quick. Okay, so we're literally testing this get. That's the only reason why we're adding those. Gotcha. Let me think a little bit about this. So it should be the default config. Okay, so what this should be actually is that it should have a default configuration. Okay. So if I get the whitelisted words, it should be literally config. Yeah, config should definitely be a whitelisted word for sure. And the second thing is that the whitelisted directories should be empty. Gotcha. So I'm going to refactor this a little bit. I'm going to do the following. Config equals to get instance. And then I'm going to type here expect the configuration, get the whitelisted words to be config, and whitelisted directories to be empty. Okay, just like that. So some small refactoring on this. It should have default configuration. The next step is this. It should be the same instance. When you're talking about same instance, by the way, Chad, we're talking about a singleton because it's always, you know, always the same instance means a singleton. So I'm going to just type here singleton. It should be a singleton. So if I fetch the configuration A and the configuration B, both should be the same, which makes sense. The next stuff is it should be able to add the whitelisted word, and I don't want to do this because I shouldn't be able to add. Undeniably, what I think it's being tested here is that if the pack.json were to have something different, like besides the configuration, something else like HTTP, that should be added. Let me check if we can test that, looking at the configuration class. Ooh, so I see some, you know, some magic being used here, which is a little bit dangerous. Like get the current namespace. Yeah, this is definitely stuff I don't want to do here for sure. Okay, I'm gonna literally just refactor this entire thing and re-add those tests in the bottom after. I'm going to remove all of these configuration tests, and I will do the following. So this instance should still be here. So this is literally the default instance of the configuration. The instance of the configuration, which should be a singleton. And then everything else will be on the constructor itself as a property promotion stuff. Okay, so what I will do here is having this public array with whitelisted words, but also whitelisted directories, and then I'm going to have an empty body. I'm going to also have a comment here which says it creates a new instance of the configuration, and the whitelisted words should be a list of strings, but also the whitelisted directories should be a list of strings. So I can now remove this. And then I should have a default implementation of this configuration, which will be a static method. Okay. The default implementation will rely on a couple of things. One of them is the pack.json file, which comes from the current directory. We do have a better way of checking the current directory. So I'm going to go to the default command, and I'm going to use something I'm using already on this command, which is this little thing called infer project path. So this relies basically on Composer to tell me what is the root level of this project. Okay, so I'm going to use this for now. I think I'm going to literally just copy this, and I'm going to move this to my configuration, and I'm going to infer the base path from this little magic I'm using from Composer. So it's very hard to explain this here on stream, but using Composer, you can literally infer the root path of a project by using this class loader instance of Composer. It's too magical to explain on stream, so I apologize about that. Sarah is saying it should be a singleton, not this singleton. Okay, I'm going to fix that real quick. Thank you for the suggestion. should be it should be a singleton. You're right. Thank you. Carlson is asking, when should we start using branches on alpha? Yeah, potentially when this project starts to being used by people, I'm gonna definitely, you know, have side branches with the new features which are being currently working. So once this actually stabilizes and I'm gonna tag the first alpha version or beta version, I'm gonna definitely start working on different branches. I want to keep it minimal for now because I just want to move fast. Joke 2K is saying, considering the initial goal was to have the check for annotations, I hope you are right. You are right, and you are going to finish this. By the way, this pull request specifically, it's only about whitelisting words. So not exactly about checking annotations in terms of mistakes on annotations. So potentially, if we don't have time for checking problems in annotations, we can postpone that. However, whitelisting words is definitely something I want to finish today. Joke 2K is asking, I don't remember, in PHP, can we private the constructor if it is to be used by a static method on the same class? We can. So potentially something I can do here is go here into this constructor and make it private, because only the public stacking default is using my constructor. So but at some point here, I'm going to return new self with some stuff inside, and this new self will work because I'm calling it from the same class. That's why. Agilov is asking me, how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic, dude. How was your Christmas? Nice to see you here. Welcome to the stream. Samudeep is saying, don't you think that test messages should be more product oriented? Instead of is singleton, can be config should be unique. Well, a config can be unique and still not be a singleton. But however, what that test is checking, if I'm going to go to tests unit config checking, is that those are actually the same instance when we call get instance. So this should definitely, this is literally the singleton pattern. So Giulio Cavalgari, which is the author of the pull request. Welcome to the stream. Probably, I don't know if you are here since the beginning, but we are reviewing your pull request. Welcome to the stream, by the way. So he's saying that singleton is constructed needs to be private to prevent the user from creating a new instance from this. It does. So I apologize if it wasn't a private constructor to begin with, but now it is. So thank you for that remark, by the way. So let's move forward. Here we are going to have creates a default instance of the configuration. Okay. And we get the base path. The next step is literally reading the JSON content from that base path. So what I will do just below this is fetch the JSON content from that base path. And I'm going to also JSON configuration. Okay, got you. So JSON decode that JSON file. Something we need to be careful about this JSON decode, by the way, is that some of the keys may not be there. You actually did that right here, which is pretty cool, by the way. Good job. Good job. Good job here, dude. So this is contents, and below we are going to that JSON as array. And finally, I'm going to return a new implementation of self with a JSON as array. And I'm going to also, I think we should also use probably this default implementation. I'm going to call this instance and reuse this to actually fetch the instance of the configuration. I'm going to call this fetches the instance of the configuration, and this will reuse the singleton if we already have that singleton. So if we already have that instance, I'm going to return that same instance. Okay, I'm going to call this this should be static instance, by the way. Oh, it is already. Nice. There we go. And this should actually be good. And I can remove all of this. I can also remove this one. And this should be instance. And if I run Pint on this, we should be good in terms of at least styling. There we go. And I can also probably remove this get because I can make this one public. Okay. And this should be read-only as well. Oh, I cannot make it read-only? That sucks a little bit because of the static instance. That's right. Okay, I'm going to make it like this then. Okay. Which means that technically we can test this now differently, but also a little bit better. There we go. Here I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to also but then, I mean, there is a likelihood that the user does not have a pack.json. So if that happens, I'm going to still have an empty string. So here I'm doing some sort of defensive programming in the sense that if some of the things do not go as expected, I'm going to be a little bit preventive. So something I'm going to do here is that if we are trying to fetch that pack.json and we don't have it, this will return null. Okay? So I want to basically get that as a string, so I always get the string on this variable. Then I'm going to try to JSON decode those contents, but there is two possibilities. I can have actually a JSON content as array, or contents may actually, be an empty string. And on that case, the JSON decode will also return, if I'm not mistaken, something a little bit weird. So when that happens, I want to actually return an empty array as well. And we are going to check if that empty array exists here or not, okay? And someone is saying you forgot to add the instance if the instance does not exist already. Thank you. So doing this will do so. Literally just set the current instance to the new self. Thank you for that suggestion, Julio. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Thank you so much. Get CWD is too magical. I agree. A little bit is dangerous. Overall, it's just, I feel like it just represents some problems over time. Julio is saying that I'm here since the beginning, so I really appreciate the review. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you took the time to literally this pull request. So I can say that you did probably 95% of the work, and I'm literally just, putting the final touches. Wow, I see that we have a lot of people on TikTok as well. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm, typically checking the chat on YouTube and Twitch. I apologize that I haven't checked it too much on the chat on TikTok. Either way, welcome to the stream, and I hope you guys are appreciating this PHP content. Julio is asking, apologize for the light, by the way. Julio is asking, what if an exception is rated if the file does not exist? So I think that if you do get file contents, I don't think, let me check. Well, the test suite will tell us that, I think, but if the file is not there, this will return false, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's fine. We are going to find out that and fix that in the future. So let's run the test suite to see what we have at the moment. So we have 8 problems, which is a lot. So we no longer have this get method, so we technically need to go to every single file, every single usage of the get, and replace it with the new property approach we have at the moment. So this should be, instead of get whitelisted words, we should have instance and then whitelisted words, just like that. I'm going to run the test suite again. Now we have 7 problems. The next problem is on this file system checker. Instead of having the get again, we do have this new approach of using it through properties, just like that. We have 4 problems now, which is on the configuration test. We no longer have this get instance, so I'm going to just call it instance for now. There we go. It's still complaining a little bit. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's working. We have now 7 failures, 3 failures, apologize. Still about the get instance. So I feel I can just do instance here. And we also don't have this get anymore. This should be whitelisted words, and this should be whitelisted directories. And we have now 2 problems. On the file system checker test, we were trying to add things. Why would you do this? Oh, interesting. So this is very interesting. So basically, on the file system checker test, which is the checker that actually checks if you know, your folders have the correct name, you have had a test which says it detects issues on a given directory but ignores the whitelisted ones, which is interesting. So we do need to refactor this a little bit and make it work. Let me think how I will do this, because I have literally no idea. Technically, one of the ideas could be work with a different JSON file. That could be potentially in one idea. Then let me check if I can get that to work, by the way. So if I go to configuration, we do have this pack JSON being hard-coded on the instance itself. Should we even allow people to specify the configuration at a different level? I don't know. Because this actually might be a good moment of making the constructor something more public and inject the configuration at this level, for example. You know what I mean? I'm going to actually do that real quick. So what I will do is go to configuration, make my configuration constructor public, and instead of accessing the configuration like this, I'm going to specify that I do need the configuration to be provided through the method injection. And finally, I'm going to access that configuration just like this. Okay. And now, on my file system checker, what I will do is that I'm going to provide a new configuration where I do have a whitelisted directory, which is the folder that should be ignored. And we no longer rely on global state. I'm going to also make these two have default values, if that's all right for you all. There we go. Okay, and it should be working now as expected. We do have a couple of places where we are instantiating this new file system checker, so we do need to update this. So on the kernel itself, here I need to do configuration default or configuration instance. There we go. Huh? What's happening? Joke 2 is saying you did a mistake on the if at the beginning of this method instance. Can you specify where exactly? Apologize. Probably I haven't read the chat for a long time, and if I did, apologize about that. Arthur is saying, can someone please clarify what the read-only keyword does? That's a great question, by the way. It's kind of a new feature in PHP. You can literally make attributes read-only if you want to. Attributes are entire classes. So for example, here is an entire class read-only. So a read-only is, you know, it's kind of making sure that an instance is immutable and its attributes won't change over time. Okay, that's what read-only does. Or to be a little bit more precise, it ensures that the attributes won't change at runtime, basically. The attributes values content. Okay. Redizio is saying the file system checker now requires the configuration. That's right. That's right. We need to do that. So let's run the test suite and just keep working on these issues. So kernel on the line 33. Oh, so here I made a mistake actually. What I really meant is that the file system checker, I wanted to provide the configuration at this level. So that was my bad. Okay. I'm gonna actually make it this way so it gets a little bit more pretty. Thank you, Redizio. How about now? 4 tests failing. Oh, we no longer need this because we are no longer relying on a global state, at least for the file system checker. 3 tests failing. So at this level, I can simply do new config, and the whitelisted words will be typos or ignored. Apologize. I can remove this for now and run our test suite. And we do have a problem here, though, which is apparently we have 4 issues instead of 3. Pick and Flow is saying, I need to start testing. I love how you have so much freedom to make changes and catch issues so fast. Dude, I couldn't describe best like why testing is so powerful. So I don't know if you were here. So he just said that, by the way. Pick and Flow just said this, which is, I need to start testing. I love how can you make changes and literally just detect, you know, problems so fast. And that's what testing in TDD it's about a little bit, which is when you have this project in production, you know, and you are making a small change and you are a literally unsure about how that change will impact the project, you can literally have the test suite telling you, oh, you just did this small change, but it's like impacting this totally different module on the other side of the application, and the test suite detected that. It's so reassuring. Like Laravel Cloud, for example, is close to 2,000 unit tests, and just give me so much freedom to think about, like, I can just do that whatever I want to, and I have the entire test suite taking care of me, you know? Pick and Flow, by the way, if you feel a little bit behind on testing, that's something perfectly normal. I have, you know, just like I am behind other topics as well, and other people are behind on other topics too. It doesn't mean that someone is better or worse. It just means that on this particular topic, which is testing, you still need to improve a little bit. In my side, for example, I feel like I need to improve on Docker, for example. Docker is something that I have never mastered, and I probably should do a full live stream on it to just learn about that, basically. Monheta is saying, put the configuration again into a variable. That the pretty way everywhere. Yeah, I should do that for sure. I definitely should that for sure, yeah. Punisher, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you here. Hamilet, welcome to the stream as well. So we definitely are now finding 4 different issues instead of 3, and we should definitely find, try to understand why this is happening. So what my test suite is saying is that it failed to assert that the size of 4 matches exactly the size 3. So let's try to address this issue. Redigio is asking me if I'm using CloudFormation on background for Laravel Cloud. For my knowledge, we are not using CloudFormation. Emily Neves saying, I'm adding vendor-bin pass -- coverage -- minimum 100 more in my private repos on GitHub. It makes me sleep better. That's right, dude. It's so true about that. I also feel the same, and I'm also doing that. So if you are doing that, that's awesome, by the way, okay? All right, dudes. So this new file system checker with the whitelisted words ignored, it still give me a count of 3. So I don't know if this test was broken to begin with, but let's do something. Let's literally DD the content of issues and see what we're having here on the console. So we have a misspelling on typo, which is okay. We have a misspelling on ignored, which is not expected, because technically I should literally ignore this ignored as a typo. So this is definitely a regression from what we are doing. So let me remind myself, where are we fetching these whitelisted words? So the problem is that the in-memory spell checker, it's not using the configuration we just created, but using the singleton. So we probably are going to have to also inject this somewhere on the in-memory spell checker. So let me go here into the file system spell checker and see how the in-memory spell checker is being created. It's also being created from kind of a singleton approach. So I feel like a solution for this real quick will be literally using also this through, regular method injection. So what we'll do here is the following. I'm going to provide the configuration as well at this level. So I'm going to go here, create a new variable with the contents of config, and finally provide that configuration to the file system checker, but also to the in-memory spell checker, which, by the way, they're a little bit different. Even though they both have checker at the end, they do different things, okay? In the in-memory spell checker, I need obviously to inject the configuration, and finally, at some point below, which is right here, instead of accessing the configuration through the singleton, I'm going to simply do this config whitelisted words. This should actually fix the issue. It might raise other issues, but it should fix the original issue, which it does. Okay, so we had, if I'm not mistaken, 4 issues. Now we have 3. Class aspell not found. I can simply import this class. Bam, bam, boom, and now it's working. Carlson is asking me on YouTube, when I use AI and I'm coding, asking questions from time to time, uses code from AI because let me reread this. So Carlos Soon is saying, when I use AI, when I'm coding, asking questions from time to time, uses code from AI because is have good logic is okay or is too much. So what I would recommend you is that when accepting suggestions from AI, do not accept like a code block of 10 lines, for example. Just go slow, Literally accept a single line and go from there, line by line, because typically when AI suggests a lot of code, there is some likelihood of that line of code be wrong. You know what I mean? Space Lamp, welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you here. Okay, let's move forward. Vendor bin passed, 3 failing tests. We can now remove this. We don't longer need this. 2 failed tests now. And the problem is on this file system checker, we now need the configuration as well. So what I will do here is literally just type configuration and provide the default instance. When failing tests, which is right here, I can simply provide a default instance of the configuration as well. And we have a passing test suite. I can run Pint on this and potentially run Composer Refactor to have some Reactor PHP running on this. If I type Composer test, I have my entire test suite passing, hopefully, as expected. 4 errors with PHP stan. So I'm going to type vendor bin PHP stan, and I should have every type checking complaining about this. So the problem is on our config.php file, which apparently we are trying to access right here to some kind of mixed content. So this is sometimes often normal on PHP stan, which is, you know, you're fetching some content from pack.json, but at any point you told me the structure of the JSON decode. So something we can do here is literally type the following. I can just type here, var, the JSON is array. I expect this to be an array where the whitelisted words might be an array. Okay, so I can just do this. And I expect as well to have whitelisted directories. And I know we are changing this, but at the moment we are purely focused on fixing the test suite. And the array is also an integer with string values. Let's run vendor bin passed. And now passing as expected. Brian is asking, there is any idea of making a live stream about Docker, coupling it to Golang? Well, I do definitely have a plan of doing a live stream just about Docker. Not sure when, but I wanted to, you know, do a live stream literally just how to actually set up Docker locally with traditional stuff like MySQL, PHP. I'm curious, by the way, how many of you are using Docker locally at the moment? Do you guys rely on Herd only, or you use Docker, you know, to set up your dev environment? Revisio is saying, I love Docker. Nice. Zeno is saying that I use Laravel Sail, it just rocks. Dude, Laravel Sail, it's been a while that I don't heard people talking about Laravel Sail. That's pretty cool. I use Herd. Pick and Flow is saying that I use Herd unless I need special requirements, like non-Ubuntu, I use Docker. Carlson is saying that I use Docker. Spacework Dev is saying that I use how about adding the interactive flag to Pack? So when activated, Laravel Argent choices. Oh, got you. So Space Dev is talking literally about adding an interactive flag, so we can literally, you know, accept some of the suggestions or whitelist them if we don't want them. Could be a good idea, indeed. And Brian is asking if Laravel Sail counts. It does count, indeed. Counts as Docker, basically. Revisio is saying that I use Herd for MySQL, Redis search services, etc., but I prefer Docker. Gotcha. By the way, if you just arrived to the stream, and if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP Laravel developer, and I literally focus, you know, my live streams on PHP in Laravel. If you watch me from YouTube or Twitch, I'm streaming every day at 9 p.m. UTC. I'm also publishing videos every single day on my YouTube channel at 1 p.m. If you want to support my work, you can do it so by becoming a YouTube member or becoming a Twitch subscriber. All the money I'm getting from this, I'm literally reinvesting the money on making the stream better. Sarah is saying that I use Docker for everything for a better world. I got you, man. I got you. So I also use Docker for shipping my applications to production. Locally, you know, I haven't given too much thought into it, basically. You know what I mean? Carson is saying that I just used Docker. Yeah, it's probably, you know, probably you are doing it right, to be fair. You know what I mean? Okay, dudes, we have a passing test suite, which tells me that everything is just working as expected. So let's try this locally to see how does it feel like. So if I go to this source directory and I type something like cars with double R, for example, and I add this to my source directory and I type vendor bin pack, what do we have on the console? Probably a misspelling word detected on cars.php, and I'm going to acknowledge this. So I'm going to go to my pack.json and I'm going to acknowledge that this is something that I effectively want to ignore. So I can do that by simply going here and typing cars on this whitelisted words, and now I have hopefully a passing test suite, and I still don't. Why is that? Let me check here if I type cars instead. Gotcha. So I need to basically provide the word on the correct uppercase, and I probably feel that this shouldn't happen. So what I think I will do real quick is lowercase any kind of match whitelisted word, because it just feels better that way. So what I will do here real quick is going back into my pack.json, put back configuration, which probably should be here by default. And I'm going to go into this file system checker test and do some TDD here. Okay. So I assume that if I go here and I type ignored with the I uppercase I hopefully have a failing test suite, right? Because it's exactly the problem I just described. And I do. If I get back, I put I again, I have a failing test suite because of this cars thing. Yeah, I need to remove this real quick. There we go. I have run past, now it's passing. So let's add the uppercase I here and have this failing. And now it's failing. I'm gonna go now to my file system checker and potentially, you know, lowercase any kind of comparison being done and have this fixed. This should probably be on the in-memory spell checker. There we go. So what I will do here is on this in array, I'm gonna lowercase both things to have them pass real quick, okay? So the whitelisted words, which are coming from the configuration, should be all of them lowercased, really. So what I will do here is array map on this whitelisted words, and I'm going to lowercase them, literally all of them, okay? So MB string to lower, the given lowercase, okay? Oh, the array map receives the function first. So what I will do here is array map, providing a callback. That callback will have the word, but also the string to lower word, and finally the whitelisted words. And probably could do the same for the whitelisted directories, to be fair, just as a nice thing to have. There we go. And now I should have a passing test suite, and I still don't for some reason. Just by the way, out of curiosity, do you guys find that obviously at the beginning of the stream, you know, we were talking about reviewing pull requests and it was kind of being slow or too much slow for my taste. But do you guys find that when I'm walking through code this way, do you still find it is just too fast? Or are you guys okay with the pace that I put into these streams? Pick and Flow is saying that I like the pace. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, gotcha, because I'm coming from the default, yeah. So this is actually not something it's not something easy to test because I'm doing this job literally on the default instance. Probably should do it at this level. Can I do it here, for example? Yeah, I can do that. This is annoying. I'm gonna remove the read-only for now. There we go. Reviso is saying directories are case sensitive on Mac or Unix. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why I want to lowercase any kind of comparison so I don't have to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? So what I will do here is literally just lowercase. So every time someone provides something, I'm going to lowercase those things before saving it on the configuration level. And I'm going to also, on the file system, on the in-memory spell checker, before checking if the given word is in the whitelist, I'm going to also lowercase that word. You know what I mean? So this should actually, you know, get the job done. So string to lower, literally, okay? Vendor bin passed is still failing for some reason. Oh, gotcha. So now it's failing not because of the word, but because of the directories we are ignoring. Gotcha, gotcha. This should not actually, this is not the correct test actually. Oops. This should be actually passing. It's not. Why is that? Oh, because I definitely don't want to lowercase directories. Gotcha, gotcha. So that's what you're saying on the chat, like literally Rodizio, that I should not lowercase, especially because on Windows, for example, they are case sensitive. So I definitely don't want to do that on the directories, only on words. So here I can literally not do this, only on words. Okay, test suite passing. Do we have an example or a test that actually tests not directories? I don't think we do. Oh, do we? Let me check. Oh, we do. This whitelisted words. Okay, so this should actually pass. Let me check. There we go, gotcha. So this is something that was failing before. So if, for example, if I were to remove what we just did right here, this should fail. There we go. But if you had this string to lower, we now have a passing test suite, which is pretty cool. So this is literally fixed the issue I was having, which is, you know, having cars or ignoring cars as uppercase, but having the word cars lowercase on the whitelisted stuff. So if I do this, I should have a passing pack test. There we go. And I can have this uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't really matter. Everything really just works, which is pretty cool. There we go. Carlson is saying, well, Sarah is saying perfect pace. Brian is saying the pace is perfect. Thank you. And Carlson is also saying, I like watch how I need to do real things on a project. It's something new for me because I always have questions if I do this or that, correct or not. It doesn't have any persons that can help. Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I have doubts myself, like if I'm doing it correctly or not. Something I told people last stream, which I think is really useful, is if you're not sure if something is correct or not, just give time, the necessary time, basically, you know, because things will just make sense in the future. Like, for example, some of the abstractions we have done here, like creating this contracts services interface, I don't know if this will pay off, but potentially will. I'm not sure. So in 1 year from now, when this project is like super stable, and I came to the conclusion that we are not going to have any other spell checker besides the Aspel one, I can probably remove this interface. But what I don't want to do, especially on this early stage of the project, is overthink things and just spend too many time, you know, thinking on the structure, on the architecture, and not actually getting anything done. That's something I always try to keep in mind. What do we have now? Do we have a passing test suite, by the way? I think we do. We don't, of course, because of this file right here. There we go. Thank you, Pack. Pick and Flow is saying, that's a major issue I have. I overthink too much and don't push that much for side projects. Yeah, man. I personally think that, especially if you are doing side projects, the time is so short and limited that you definitely want to focus on shipping rather than if you're doing things in the perfect way. I generally think that one of the reasons people take so many time to do their first open source contribution is that they overthink it and they think it needs to be perfect, you know? And it doesn't. The reality is that it doesn't. So we have a passing test suite, which tells me that we already have like enough content to actually push this. So I'm going to type here and just say fit configuration. Refactor configuration class and push this. Okay, we have done a couple of things that I think are very interesting, like literally lowercase of the whitelisted words, but I think there is a quick win we can do, which is literally think about the better API for this. So I need your help, Chad. Okay, so I need your help, Chad. Everyone on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Quick, you know, everyone, literally, what do you think this configuration should look like in terms of wording, literally? So let's focus first on these whitelisted words. What do you would like to see in terms of naming for this specific option? You may like already whitelisted words. If that's the case, just, you know, mention whitelisted words. But what would you like to see here? We can think about a lot of things here, really. We can literally just give it whitelisted. Potentially, we can have something like ignore, you know, just something like ignore. I personally already like this one already, just ignore config, for example, but it doesn't have, you know, it doesn't have messages or whatever, which can be a little bit confusing. So what do you guys think, by the way? Usually high is saying, I have a top level whitelist key with 2 keys nested, words in directories. Interesting. Okay, so usually high just made a great comment, which is it's something that we probably want to think about, which is a top level whitelist key with 2 ignorance keys nested. So what he's saying is literally this: instead of having 2, just have this, ignore, and then have words and then directories inside. You know, could be potentially a good idea, to be fair, but what do you guys think? Zeno is saying that I like YAML files for configuration more than I like JSON. Not really a fan of YAML files. I'm sorry about that. Pick and Flow is saying I really like the high, usually high is idea. Interesting, okay. Revisio is saying whitelist and then have So what Redizio is saying, by the way, it's literally the same thing, I think, as usually high, but instead of having ignore, he wants to whitelist here. I personally feel that whitelist is a term that it might look complicated for some people. What do you guys think? Rodrigo Shad is saying, hello, Nuno. You do a great job. I like it. Thank you so much. Okay, usually high is saying that I like the ignore too. Give me a second here. Joke 2K is saying, are we actually accepting those words as good, but not ignoring directories? Interesting. Rodrigo is saying, ignore seems a pretty standard word to use. But Zeno is saying, whitelist is more clear to me than ignore. Oh my god. If you guys don't mind, I feel like I'm gonna stick with ignore for now. Just like this. I feel I'm gonna stick with ignore though, you know. We can always, you know, come back to this and make changes, you know. But I also feel like Redizio is saying, that ignore seems pretty standard. Let's keep the ignore for now, if you guys don't mind. Okay, let's skip this for now. Obviously, you know, I expect Pack to fail here. Zeno is saying to my next pull request, ignore the whitelist. By the way, we can have both, to be fair. We can have both. Undeniably, having documentation with two things is a little bit confusing. But we can indeed have both, by the way. Okay. Muba is saying that I'm not religious, but I like PHP. Welcome to the stream, Muba. Nice to see you here. Pick and Flow is saying that PHP is my religion. Oh my god. Alright dudes, let's finish this up. So I'm gonna go to configuration. Actually, so obviously Pack is failing by itself, but also, I mean, Past should be also failing this test suite. So Pick and Flow, this is like one of the scenarios where why testing gives you so much confidence, because we literally just changed the configuration file and now everything is failing, you know. So this tells me that, you know, I can just go to my configuration get instance and adjust a little bit our instance factory to really accommodate these changes. So the whitelisted words, which I feel we can still use it like this internally, will now be the result of config and ignore words, just like this. Okay, and this will be the result of ignore directories, and I should have the entire test suite passing again. There we go. This is pretty cool stuff in my opinion. By the way, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno, and today we are having literally a stream about building an open source package. My name is Nuno, PHP and Laravel developer. If you watch me from Twitch, give me, you know, a following right there. If you watch me on YouTube, leave me a like as well if you want to. You can also support my work if you want to by subscribing on Twitch or becoming as a YouTube member. You know, and welcome to the stream, by the way. So this should now be a little bit different because we are going to have an ignore, maybe an ignore, and then within ignore 1, 2, 3, 4, we are going to have words in 1, 2, 3, 4 directories. Okay, I'm going to go all the way down right here and just, you know, have this passing as expected. If I run vendor bin PHP stan, I should have the entire test suite passing as expected, which I do. And if I run a composer test, I should have the entire thing just working as expected. And I do. So as you guys can see, like, it's so cool to have pack and then pass in both running and passing as expected, which is pretty cool. Revisor is saying that's the PHP mindset right there, having both. Oh yeah, I like it, man. I like it. Like, just, you know, supporting multiple options depending on the taste of the user. I think it's pretty cool. Syra is saying, should we ignore support? Should we support rejects? I definitely think we should. You know, so I'm opening for a pull request on that, by the way, if you want to do it. But I definitely think we should support regex expressions, literally, you know, wildcards and those things. We have to do it later on a different stream, though. All right, so this is working as expected. What else do I want to do on this pull request? Let me go here real quick. I'm going to go into the Safari screen and check if I want to do anything else here. So this is kind of taken care of. This is equally taken care of. This is equally taken care of. Oh, I want to fix this real quick, I think. Yep. So this is one last thing I want to improve. I don't want to have this extra method, so I want to see what is being called and kind of making improvements on that. So the in-memory spell checker is calling the filter whitelisted words. Why? Okay, we don't need this. We don't need this, right? So I can literally go here and remove this. How about now? Yeah. Why was that there in the first place? Interesting. Well, we don't need that. We can literally have the entire test suite passing without that method on the interface, which tells me that the method can even be private to begin with. So if I go to in-memory spell checker, I can go all the way down and change this from public to private. I can run Pint on this. Yep, all good. And now it's passing. There we go. Remove and use it. Public method on interface. So actually, like, an interface is something you want to be careful about because it's something that if you were to change this interface in the future, even though it's internal, it will require potentially, you know, a major release. However, this one is internal, so probably we can just do changes whatever we want to, because, you know, no other people is relying on it. That's like the powerful thing about internal annotations, is that you are just announcing that you shouldn't literally rely on this interface if you were to ever use this code in a project. You know what I mean? Someone is saying, Joke2K is saying, I mean, even if you remove the check method from the interface, everything is passing. I don't think you're correct, dude. Check this out. So I have PHP stan here, and I'm going to remove the check method from the interface. You see? So PHP stan just told me that there is no method on the spell checker concrete implementation on the file system checker. So literally, you know, on any place I'm using this interface as a construct, if I were to remove the check method, my test suite is not passing anymore, you know? However, if I were to remove the filter whitelisted whatever thing, PHP stan is still passing, meaning that the method itself is not being used outside of the in-memory thing, you know? So that's why PHP stan is so powerful, by the way. Do we have any changes here? I don't think we do. There we go. Okay. So this is taken care of. This is also being taken care of. This is like test suite. This one, both taken care of. And this one as well, and the config test as well. Nice. All right, folks, that was a very good job. We made very good progress today on the project. I do want to do one last thing, which is kind of having a screenshot of the tool being used here. I want to finish doing that, by the way. So we have a test. Do we have this thing passing? If not, why? Joke 2K is asking, what is the error? Yeah, I can tell you the problem. So on this checker, call it file system checker. So here we are not relying on the concrete implementation. Oops. Let me just do this real quick. So on this file system checker, which checks for folder names, but also for file names, we are providing two things, one being the configuration, the second one being any implementation of the spell checker. So here I can provide, something that checks for mistakes, either that be on an API or on the separate project, doesn't really matter. It's truly an interface. So this interface is actually being called multiple times, for example, here. And so this check method needs to be available on the interface. If you don't have it, PHP stand will complain about that. Thanks for understanding that. Yeah. So what else do I want to do? I want to have like I want to have a screenshot of the project running, and I'm going to do that real quick. So I'm going to come here and literally just create a real example. For example, persons with double S, for example. Okay. And I'm going to put that potentially at the value objects level to make it really realistic. And now I'm going to run Bender Pack, for example. There we go. And I can have this screenshotted and just put this on my project. Oops, just like that. All right, so I did screenshot this, and potentially will upload this grievance screenshot to the docs folder, and I'm going to equally include this small example on my README file later. I'm going to do that later though, because I do need to ensure that the PNG is properly compressed. Otherwise, it will take forever to load on mobile phones. So I want to do that offline. Regardless, I feel like we made great progress today. There is definitely a highlight of today, which is the fact that we had a lot of people contributing to the project in terms of, community members contributing to the project, which is pretty powerful in my opinion. I feel that having a lot of people on stream, but also off stream, literally doing sometimes their first open source contribution, that was really powerful, and I was able to review a few of them today. We have as well the peak and flow contribution that will basically allow us to have something like this, that we type pack add ignore the word or whatever, and that will basically mutate the JSON file. So I think that will be powerful. We're going to do that on the next the next stream potentially. But we made great progress today from having pack as a POC or as a regular idea to actually starting making something really concrete. So that was kind of the highlight of today, alongside with having the community making so many contributions. Logic BR is saying, I just got here, what are we building today? Well, today we are building a spell checker for PHP, where you can literally just run that in your project, and it will tell you like how many files are wrongly spelled with correct names, or detect typos in your project. The goal was also having, this tool checking for PHP annotations, but we had to leave that to another live stream because we made progress on other stuff. And that's perfectly okay. Peak and flows, yeah, exactly. Usually High is saying, could improve it further by only showing suggestions that are common options for file names. Persona with apostrophe is something that I wouldn't want. Yeah, definitely I feel like the file system checker shouldn't contain suggestions with the apostrophe, meaning that you can pull request that if you don't mind. Okay, so you can pull request literally to, you know, whatever we are doing those suggestions and cut those off basically from the suggestions. Pick and Flow is saying, this was my favorite stream so far, was my first open source contribution. I've learned a lot. Yeah, man, and I apologize that your pull request ended up being the last one reviewed, but it was also like it came like late on the stream already, you know, and it was like so related to this one from the configuration, which is kind of impossible to review yours before doing this one. So we are going to leave that one to the next stream basically. So next stream, you know, I'm gonna adjust your pull request to literally what we have today on the configuration class. So but it was a good job. Congratulations on that. Joke2k is saying, thank you so much for the explanation. So he's referring to the PHP stan complaining about a method not found. And he's saying, so now the whitelist is a private feature of the default in-memory spell checker, right? I do think so. Yes, I do think so. Let me double check. So if I go to the in-memory spell checker, let me check that real quick. So it is, which undeniably makes me think that it shouldn't. Okay, so what Joke2k is saying is that we are filtering the whitelisted words directly on the in-memory implementation. So if someone does some sort of, I don't think we should concern too much about that at the moment, but if someone does an API spell checker using something like Grammarly or whatever, you know what I mean? This API spell checker will also have to filter those suggestions out. So undeniably, we probably should do that at other level. You're probably correct, okay? I don't know if you meant that, but if you did, you're probably correct. Julio is saying, I was just testing something to allow the user to configure which language to use on the spell checker, but Aspel doesn't support multiple languages, which ends up being the problem. So do you mind of creating an issue on GitHub? Actually not an issue, but potentially on the issue we already have, which we are going to decide which spell checker we are going to use behind the scenes. If it's Aspel, Hunspell, or whatever, just put that as an existing problem of the Aspel, you know? And probably if you have time, check if we have that problem with other spell checkers. Joke2k is saying that's why it was on the interface, I guess. That could bring an abstract check implementation. Indeed. Sarah is saying, you said that you stream every day at 9 p.m. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, I did. 9 p.m. UTC. And what time zone is that? Yeah, UTC. Basically, universal time zone. So every single day at 9 p.m. UTC. Undeniably, like, I will probably... Sometimes I come later, you know. Today I started the stream at 10 p.m. It's like almost 1:30, you know, which is too late for me. I can't do this today because I'm on vacations at the moment. But potentially in the future, regularly I stream at 9 p.m. Okay. But now I'm on vacation, so I may go for a dinner with my family or with my wife, so I come late, you know. So during this week, we'll definitely be a little bit later than 9 p.m. Well, dudes, it was a pleasure to be with you all today. I'm happy that I'm able to combine these streams with my open source work, so I can actually have some, you know, I can actually have great stuff being built while I'm streaming. So I wanted to personally thank you so much for enjoying this stream and for being on that side, helping me out. And yeah, we are going to keep grinding on this potentially. Tomorrow I will stream again, hopefully, if I'm not, getting out with friends. But if we do, I think I can see myself continue to work on this project and making it better, if nothing else appear meanwhile. So thank you so much for being on that side. Love the stream today, and I'll catch you all next time. Let's rate someone, by the way. Let's not forget about that. If you're watching me from YouTube, something we always do on stream is literally rate people on Twitch. Rating people on Twitch, meaning that I'm going to redirect all my viewers to a different stream and potentially a stream with not that many people, so we can literally support other folks. So I'm going to go to this website that I have built together with you all. Call it, let me go there, call it Developers Live. So I actually built this with other people, and I can see that Theo is currently streaming, so we can potentially rate Theo. Unless you guys know anyone else who is doing PHP and also on Twitch. If not, I think Theo will be a fantastic person we can rate. So I'm gonna go here into my, a stream manager. Pick and Flow is saying that Primogen is doing a lot of our stream next week. That's nice, man. We can possibly react live to his stream. Could potentially be a cool stuff. Prime is saying that Theo is live. Yeah, he's live, man. I think next week, Pick and Flow. Do you mind me telling me like which day Primogen is doing a live stream about Laravel, because I can probably react to that live stream live, which I think will be a very cool thing to do. Let me know, okay? All right, folks, thank you so much for being here today. I love you all. That was a very cool stream, and so catch you next time. That being said, peace out.